Welcome to the Questlog Club, fellow Enders, a book club media share excuse to finish more games. I am your host, Sammy.
I'm Deidra.
And this is Robin. I'm 15 episodes into Black Lagoon and 2 episodes into Kamen Rider Blade.
Ooh. Well, I guess we'll start with you then, since you're just going right in.
Yeah, I figured that'd be my intro as I
You just kind of
talk about what I just fill you in on what I've been watching.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm 15 episodes into Black Lagoon. That's been very fun. Went a little bit slower on that this last month.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I literally just started Kamen Rider Blade the other day just because I impulse downloaded it. I mean, I bought it. I impulse bought it. Well, I was buying some other stuff to watch with friends.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Off to an interesting start. They really throw you in it with that first couple episodes. Got 3 writers out the gate, and more honestly, not more important, but more important to this show.
Yeah.
I did finish The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya in between this and last episode. I wish I could say I had simple feelings on Haruhi. I wish I could say it was easy to boil down.
Mm-hmm.
So like I fucked with the first season a little bit. Like it's goofy. It's annoying, but it's like fun. It's like passably so. There's a good blend of the the hyper specific style of light novel science fiction, but also the mundane school shit that I dug it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get season 2, which I personally feel like pulls back on a lot of the sci-fi stuff and favors more of the hijinks, which is can be fine, but a big part of that is the first part of the second season, that being Endless Eights.
I was gonna ask if you've watched it, if you watched it or if you skipped it like some people do.
So okay, Sam, you know it. Deidra, have you ever heard the term Endless Eight?
No.
Okay, because you were the one non-anime watcher of the three of us. So I knew of Endless Eight before I had started Haruhi. I didn't know that it was a Haruhi thing. I just heard people talking about, Endless Eight, Endless Eight, Endless Eight.
Yeah, it was like a meme for years.
Yeah. And so, hold on. The thing about Endless Eight, it's a very controversial arc within Haruhi, not for any bad content or anything. It's more so what it's doing. It's weirdly experimental in terms of storytelling, which is the simplest way I can put it is Endless Eight is a time loop story like Groundhog Day, but what if you were watching that time loop from the perspective of a character who is not aware of the time loop? Mm-hmm. And where that gets alienating is, so why is it called Endless Eights? Well, obviously, what is an Endless Eight except for an infinity? So there's that obvious play on words. It takes place at the end of August, the 8th month of the year, and it is also an 8-episode arc, the script of which is verbatim the same. Well, not verbatim. It is, small things get changed here and there. Sometimes you'll see a scene in one episode and then not see it in the other, but the broad strokes of each episode is the exact same events. Because again, the characters are stuck in a time loop but the only one who is aware of it is not the main character, and so we never see it from her perspective. And up until the very end, I was genuinely in the camp that Endless 8 is good. I was for it. Like, it's committing to the time loop in a way that I've never seen anything do before, and I don't want to see anything else do again. But it's doing it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
that it's interesting. Like, it is less a story and more an exercise in testing your audience patience, and that's interesting to me. Where it falls off for me is what makes the time loop end, because my second biggest issue with Haruhi is the main character and Haruhi's relationship feels really underdeveloped for me. It's like kind of an underlined romance between the two of them, but it just, I don't think their actual romantic connection ever gets really expanded upon in a meaningful way. And they tease the main character, the whitest piece of white bread in the world, Kyon, doing something like kind of romantic to Haruhi to end the time loop. And then he doesn't do that at all. What he does to end the time loop is just another day of all of them hanging out. And it comes off as really flat to me. I thought
you
they
could
were
say
gonna...
that's. I mean, you could say that spending a wonderful August night with the people that you care about is romantic in its own way, in like a broad, general, life-affirming sense. You know, like
You could, if that wasn't what I just watched 8 fucking episodes of them doing every day.
So wait.
Every day they are hanging out together.
So they solved the problem by just doing the same shit.
They solve the problem because at the end of the loop, Haruhi's like, oh, we have one more day, but I don't have anything planned. So if you all want to hang out again, we can do something. But if not, we can all just go home. And then they all go home, and then the time loop resets. Keep in mind, they have been doing this for literally 500 years by the time they are done with it. And it just took him saying, oh shit, let's have a study sesh and finish all our summer homework. And then she's like, great, I am sufficed. Summer can end.
Honestly, I mean, so I'm speaking as somebody who's actually never watched Endless Eight. I've never finished Haruhi properly.
Yeah.
When I watch it, I will watch the whole thing.
I think you should. Again, I think it's incredibly interesting. Like, I'm also imagining it from the perspective of when this came out.
Yeah. Could you imagine watching that fucking week to week?
2 months. 2 months.
You're waiting every week for the new Haruhi, and it's just basically the same episode every single time. I feel like you'd think that they were just running a rerun or some shit because of like some stuff with the studio, and then you pick up like blue, and then I think by that time Blu-rays were in circulation. I forget when Haruhi came out, but
2007.
Yeah, so Blu-rays were becoming a popular format at that point. Yeah. Because the PlayStation 3 existed. Yep. So by that point, like, you go and you pick up that Haruhi Season 2 Blu-ray, and then you're like, wait, 8 of these episodes are just the same episode.
They wear different clothing and swimsuits.
That's funny as fuck. Honestly, I kind of like that. So I like that as just kind of, it's a big fuck you, kind of.
No, like I said, I was down for it up until they resolved it. I thought it was incredibly interesting.
That's fair. Because it's the kind of thing where it's like, if you're gonna do something like that, you gotta kind of take it somewhere interesting at least, or at least do something with it.
Yeah. But yeah, just the payoff being, we should hang out again, was like, just
in a different context.
Just a letdown.
Yeah.
Did not make me feel like it was worth it.
That is fair.
That's where I ended with Haruhi. Is it just like that? And so there's two text messages I sent Sam that I think sum up my relationship with Haruhi and then my relationship with Black Lagoon. My relationship with Black Lagoon was just me sending Sam a picture of Roberta with the heart eyes emoji.
Yeah.
That's that. Simple enough. The one for Haruhi was, it's like 11 o'clock in the morning, and I just cold text her, no context. Haruhi is the most annoying bitch on earth.
I remember that. Oh my god.
Because she is horrible.
Yeah.
Haruhi is the most annoying, one of the most annoying characters that's ever lived. Deidra, if you don't know, since you don't know, the core concept of Haruhi is that Haruhi is God and she is not aware. And so if she really wants something to happen, it will happen. So all of her, like her friend group are all these different supernatural beings that are trying to study her and don't want to make her upset because she could alter reality drastically.
Yeah, because
I see.
Doesn't the reason Endless 8 happen because Haruhi's basically like, I don't want summer to end or something?
Yes, that's when she's like, well, we got one more day. Shucks, I wish we did something. And so then that repeats for 500 years.
That's fucking wild. What a wild fucking concept.
Yeah, it was a really good show to fold laundry to.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I tend to get from Haruhi. It's like, it's fun, it's cute, it has its moments, but it's like definitely a show that you watch while like doing other shit.
Yeah, especially because I watched it in English, which big issue with the English. I'm not normally, I don't care about English dubs. I'll watch something in dub if I think it feels appropriate. But I actually had a really big issue with this because they didn't translate any on-screen text.
Oh, that sucks.
So like characters will look at something and be like, oh, that. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I can't read this language. And they like won't say it out loud.
Yeah. It's because that's really weird for a dub to do. Because I think Funimation handled it like when they were a thing that existed and not just Crunchyroll now. But I'm pretty sure Funimation did the dubs and the translations. So it's kind of weird for them to not like.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's a weird decision because again, it is a lot of relevant stuff. Mm-hmm. So whatever. Yeah, I'm trying to think anything else I did outside of that. But really, just Haruhi, and Haruhi, Kamen Rider, just getting a feel for it. And I finished what I have of this manga called. Oh my god, she's not like my literal like my icon, but like I used the image of her as an icon on the internet. Othello by Sotomi Akizawa.
Nice.
It's good. It's a good, cute little shoujo manga from the early 2000s. So, you know, occasionally there's some language and a racist character, but, you know, it's Japan in the early 2000s.
Yeah, there sure was a lot of blackface or racial caricature stereotypes. I mean, really, that was just the world in the 2000s for some reason.
Yeah. So that's me. That has been my month that we are currently in.
Nice. I guess you could say that we've been in a bit of an endless state of our own, huh?
It is that month. That's the real thing is you got to binge Endless 8 during the last month of August or the last week of August.
True. Just watch the whole thing every day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Deidra, what have you been up to?
It's been Dawn Trail. It's been Final Fantasy 14. I don't know what you want from me.
So I guess you could say you've been in your own Endless 8 then, in a kind of sort of way.
That's not wrong.
Yeah. See, we tied it in.
Yeah, it's been that. I've been doing since the last time we met, I got every job to level 100.
Damn, nice.
I couldn't keep the brain rot in, so I changed one of my alts to be a female Hrothgar because they look really nice.
Yeah.
As you should.
That alt existed as a joke anyway. So there's a job in the game called Gunbreaker, and it's one I've played a lot. And there's a race of rabbit people named Viera.
Yes.
And so I thought it would be really funny to have a character that I only played Gunbreaker on that was a Viera and name them Bunbreaker.
Good.
Yeah.
That's it. Rules. That was the character. Anyway,
rules.
she's dead now. She's a fucking lion lady.
Oh no!
Oh, jeez.
Bunbreaker!
Yeah.
I wonder if she thinks about her name and just goes like, my name makes no sense now.
I actually changed the name because it knew it was going to bother me.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I got everything to 100, and I've been doing a lot of the endgame raiding, which I've dabbled in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd never cleared a raid tier yet, and I had a lot of groups that were like kind of thinking about it, but nothing really. With some friends of mine, nothing really ever formed.
Mm-hmm.
So I turned to finding random people on the internet, and I applied for a static, which for those unfamiliar, a static is literally just a group of people that aims to raid together and do like the high-end stuff together. Pretty simple concept. I applied for one, and they didn't answer me, so I applied for the second one, and it was complicated, but they wanted me in as like a sub member because they didn't quite have room. And then their actual melee DPS never showed up, so they just brought me onto the team.
Nice. Okay. I do think it's a little funny that like there's what do they call those people in like, you know, like in like plays and stuff, they'll have like backup performers in case like the main actor, in case like the actor or actress can't be there to fill in the role or to play the role.
I don't know the term, but I get what you mean.
Yeah, it's funny, like I can't think of the word right now, but like I think it's funny that exists for like MMO raid groups.
Yeah, it's not typically that normal. I think it was kind of like they had one spot and they wanted me in, but there was this red mage that they trialed who is like really, really good. So they opted to bring them in instead.
Oh, it's sorry, just real quick. It's an understudy. I remembered what the word was. It's an understudy.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, it kind of was like, hey, we've got a melee that like kind of doesn't show up a lot, and so can you sit in if they don't? And I was like, yeah, sure, I guess. I don't got any other group. And then they just didn't show up. So, but yeah, it means I'm doing high-end stuff as a Reaper, which is one of my favorite jobs, and I don't have to tank this tier, which is great because I'm really sick of tanking.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's good to mix it up.
Yeah, especially because you said that there was not a lot of variety with the jobs this expansion, right?
Yeah, at least like if you've been playing a job in the last expansion or the one before, like not a lot has changed. So you kind of need to jump to another job to really see anything different.
Yeah, totally.
And I spent basically the entire last expansion tanking, so playing Gunbreaker. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. We cleared the tier last week, which would be week 3.
Nice.
And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying the end game quite a bit.
Nice.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, I guess I should talk about. I thought y'all were gonna talk about more. Now I'm gonna. It's about to be the Sam. It's about to be the Sam Yap session. Like, do you have anything else, or was it just On Trail?
That's it. I poked a little bit more at Zenless Zone Zero.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I think the only thing keeping me going is that the dailies are super easy. So if I don't feel like playing, I just pop in for like literally 1 minute.
That's fair.
Get
honestly,
my 60 polychromes and then dip.
That's fair. Honestly, I think I popped in for like 5 minutes and I just uninstalled it. I was like, I'm not gonna play this.
That's understandable.
Yeah. I mean, all I've played that's new is, okay, let's pull up the full title here. Don't want to get this wrong. Yeah, you want those games, right? So here you go. Now let's see you clear them too. Yeah, I've been playing it. I play it on my lunch at work because it's the perfect time to play it.
That seems like a good game for that.
That is true. It is.
Yeah.
It is literally those like fake mobile games. That does make sense.
Yeah. No, that is exactly. It's the perfect game for that. That is unfortunately all I have to say about it. So Sam, it is fully in the ball is in your court to be the Yap session.
Actually,
right. Yeah.
Oh, never
just
mind.
To extend
Cancel.
slightly, just to extend
Roman
slightly,
cancel.
because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
The guild, as of this recording, the Guild Wars 2 next expansion launched yesterday, so my MMO hellscape never ends.
I keep forgetting that game gets expansions.
It
keeps chugging.
It is chugging along. It is
the brave little engine that goddamn could. Good for them.
It is certainly not like FF14 is my MMO hellscape of choice.
Yeah.
But Guild Wars 2's structure makes it very easy to dip into for like a few days.
Yeah.
And then duck out.
I feel like
which sounds good for a forever game like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like in a different world, as a kid, instead of Phantasy Star Online 2, I would have played Guild Wars 2 or something.
I played Guild Wars 2 when it launched. I was incredibly excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
Played it on launch. I played it for 2 days straight. Had a great time. Got to one of the last continents.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hated it because it was really hard. And then I uninstalled and then didn't play it for literal years.
I remember I played it once with a friend years ago, and I remember being like, this is cool, and then I just kind of didn't play it ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then MMOs are just a big black hole for me. Nothing.
That's fair. I feel like it's definitely one of the genres where either you fuck with MMOs and like what they generally do, or you don't.
I agree, and it's why it was really funny to me when the original Destiny was coming out from Bungie. I thought it was really funny seeing a lot of people getting hyped for it and like, oh, it's the next game from the Halo guys, and looking at it and being like, this is built like an MMO. Like, I feel like a lot of the people who are excited for it are just gonna bounce completely off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean it's because it is such a because like games like that aren't an MMO, but like Warframe's in the same camp where it's like not an MMO, but like it's.
But it's got a lot of.
It basically
it is.
It's got a lot of design and trappings. I mean, I think you could argue gacha games are similar to MMOs in some ways. Like,
I think my major thing about Warframe is that at this point, the focus is so blown up that like I don't even know what the fuck the main objective of that game is anymore. Like it's
I played Warframe when it was a cover shooter.
Oh, I did too. I played it back around the time it came out, or it first was like starting to come out and shit. I remember like how that game used to be, and it was kind of like Destiny before Destiny a bit, but like in a lot of different ways, obviously. And then as time has gone on, it's kind of mutated into this whole like there's just so much different shit in that game. There's a fighting game in there, which is wild as hell.
Warframe is massive. I dip into it every now and again, but I have played that game too much.
You can play fucking Tony Hawk. When they announced the Space Pirate thing, I was like debating hopping back in because I love Space Pirate shit, but then I didn't.
That's understandable. I dip in every now and again whenever, like, oh, that frame looks interesting. I'll jump on and farm it for a bit, I guess.
Same. I tend to see, what is it, like Al Pacino and Heat, you know? You see a Warframe with a great ass, and you just, you know, you're there.
That is their demographic.
That's true. Oh, shit. Anyway, so is that everybody's everything? Everybody got everything out?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
All right. It's time for the Yap Sesh. So I did a lot this month. Like, yeah, honestly, for whatever reason, I felt like I didn't actually do as much as I did, but actually, I did a decent amount. So I've been getting out to the theater more. I got this, I have like a Regal, like movie pass kind of thing. So I can basically go see movies for free. Like, I'm paying for it, obviously, but it's like, it basically acts as a thing where like I can pick whatever I want to go see, and then I can just go to the theater and see it. So I saw Twisters, which was
Was that this month?
Wait, was that this month? Let me double check. I might be tripping on that one. I feel like that was like early, I feel like that was early August though. I saw it in early August, I'm pretty sure. July 24th. Okay, no, maybe I'm tripping. No, we recorded that episode.
That would have been after our.
That would have been after. Yeah. It's in the time frame, so I'm counting it. So I saw Twisters. I wanted to like that movie a lot more than I did. So I've had people go like, "Well, what were you even expecting? It's Twisters," and I'm like, "Yeah, but like." Twister. Okay, listen, I haven't seen Twister since I was a child. I'm not going to pretend like I remember everything about goddamn Twister. But in Twister, that goddamn tornado hated those motherfuckers. It wanted those motherfuckers dead. Okay? There's a scene in the original Twister where they have to tie a fucking belt to like a metal pole because that Twister is trying to kill them. Like it has made its target them. That doesn't really happen in Twisters. There's a scene near the end where like they have to hold down a movie theater, and one woman tries to sacrifice herself to kill the Twister, but like it doesn't hit the same. I just don't think it works. It's also bizarrely like it's a movie that feels like it was supposed to have like more romantic anything in it, but they never commit to kissing. Nobody kisses in that movie, like, ever. And, like, normally that's, like, whatever. But it feels weird because it feels like they were supposed to. Like, they even do that whole cliche where, like, somebody's about to leave and then, like, the character goes up. They do the whole, like, go get him, tiger. You know, that whole thing. And then, like, he runs up to her and they just stare at each other for a minute and then they walk out of the airport.
It's like that moment in an anime where two characters just like run full speed and then stop and like 2 feet in front of each other and just look at them.
Yeah. It was like, it just felt bizarre.
He meant go get him like a friend, you know? He's not a very social guy. So he's like, hey, you got this.
I think the funniest part is that the person who tells him to go get her is like also in the love triangle. It's like the funniest. It's so funny. He's like super into her too. So it's just this thing of like, are they like in a poly kind of situation? Is that what's like happening here?
Yeah, it's like a little Twister's polycule.
It's so funny. I can't make.
Is the Twister in the love triangle?
It should have been.
It
was a toxic lover. It kept trying. It wanted to love, but it kept trying to kill.
My ex, she was like a storm, just rolled through and destroyed my life. Me too, man. No, literally. She was a tornado.
No, she tried to like pull me out of a movie theater. That shit was crazy. We almost died.
Yeah. Again, man, I think I've been through. No, she was a literal tornado, like the weather phenomenon. It was weird, man.
Oh shit. And then I watched Gamera. The first.
Oh yeah, you've been
Gamera.
on the Kick of the Turtle movie, yeah.
Yeah, the Heisei Gamera films. I watched Gamera Guardian of the Universe. That movie is fun as fuck. I love Gamera's characterization. I love there's a really good bit where I'm trying to remember because it's been like a minute and I watched so many fucking movies. So I'm like, I'm gonna see what I wrote about it. It's just like I just whenever I watch a Toku movie, it reminds me of how much I love Toku shit. Like every time. Because like I love rubber suits. I love people duking it out in rubber suits against puppets, like the destruction. I love that like when Gamera blows up a fucking like Gyos, they fucking explode into pieces. Like there's a big explosion
that's
and
great.
they just rip apart. Apparently the co-director of Shin Godzilla and the director of Shin Ultraman was the effects supervisor on the first Gamera movie, which I didn't know. Or on the first Heisei Gamera movie, which I didn't know. But you can tell, and it really pays off. And, you know, there's a lot of cool shit about it, too. It's, you know, it's a film about, like, protecting the environment, obviously, about taking care of the planet, and how, like, you know, we as people can be callous about it. And, you know, it's just a good time. I'm curious to see how it works in context of the other movies. I hear Gamera 3 is like insane or something. I don't know anything about it, but I hear it's crazy, so I'll update about that one on the next episode cuz yeah.
Oh, I will. One thing I actually forgot last episode because it like just started, and I won't take up too much time because it's not my week anymore. I have been watching in the same vein. I have been watching Ultraman Arc every week, which is the new Ultraman series, and that's been fun. It's my first Ultraman TV series. It's been goofy. It's been fun. The whole like thing is Ultraman has to use his creativity, which usually him using his creativity means he breaks a piece of glass in half and then shanks the monster with it. I'm not joking. That actually happens in the show.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no, I was really surprised because he has like a big like energy shield that's just like a big rectangle, and Ultraman's like, main character, use your creativity, and he just snaps it over his knee and just stabs the big monster with both halves.
That fucking rules. That owns.
What's really cool is that Ultraman is free on YouTube, English subtitled and dubbed if you want to watch it dubbed.
It really is wild it really is wild what like desperation will actually lead a company to making good decisions about how they treat their properties.
Yeah, no, it's just for free every week. I get to watch it. I don't have to like find any funny, funky workaround. It's just there on YouTube.
I wish Toei would stop being fucking assholes and would just... They're like kind of starting to, because like with Geats getting, with Shout Factory getting Geats, I feel like we're at least starting to approach them trying more to get like newer stuff over. And I think they have like one, if I remember correctly, I think there's like one major person who's like really pushing to work with like international companies and stuff to get Kamen Rider in other places. I just wish they would do more. I genuinely believe if Kamen Rider 4s got a re-release in the West, I think that shit would go off. I really do.
I haven't gotten to 4s. I'm curious about it because it's
from the fucking showrunner. It's from not the showrunner. It's from the writer of Kill la Kill
of Gurren
and Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
Like, I think that shit would go off. I really think that would become like mad popular.
I think people would have. Well, I don't know. I think
maybe a better chance.
I think the live action would put off a lot of people. I think the live action and the general cornball budget would put off a lot of people. But But I think it could be. I think it could be popular.
I will listen. I may be delusional in this belief, but I will choose to believe in Forz. He is friend to everybody.
I know Forz is friend to everyone, but
Friend of humanity.
It's like okay, sorry. Again, not to eat too much into your week. I see shit like this all the time on the internet where people like will be like, oh, I hear that like Marvel, DC, and Star Wars fans aren't happy. They should just get into Super Sentai, Ultraman, and Kamen Rider. And are you fucking delusional?
I know. I am delusional though. I think they would. I think if more people branched out from the, because like I always see motherfuckers go like, oh, I'm so tired of like the regular superhero grind, and oh, I'm so bored, and then they don't watch anything else. They don't try to like engage with fucking anything else. And it's like,
okay, but to be fair, I think telling an MCU bro who's tired of Marvel, hey, have you checked out Ultraman or Super Sentai, is like telling your friend who's really into Call of Duty that thinks Call of Duty sucks that they should try Danganronpa. That does not compute.
No, it could work though. Think about it, okay? What's in Call of Duty, all right? Murder. What's in Danganronpa? Murder. There's a commonality. They're basically the same thing. I'm not delusional.
Yeah.
My plan will
actually,
work.
never mind. You're right. They are basically the same.
I will Kamen Rider pill the masses. Let me in. Toei, let me in your international branch. I know, I get where you're coming from. I do genuinely think that, well, so the biggest problem is that like people, I think that Western audiences especially have this kind of weird perception of what superhero media should be, and that characters need to be cool and badass, and like a lot of the endearing traits of Toku, for whatever fucking reason, just don't translate well to like Western audiences, even though they do. Like, but I think that's the belief. I think the belief is that people won't take it seriously, and therefore it'll be seen as like, oh, that's just Power Rangers or whatever, even though, you know, it's obviously
I do think there is a level of I think the Power Rangers affiliation is not nothing, but I also think there's a level of like people expect a level of, you know, polish and shine that isn't present, but that's because that's just not what it's for. And I like the lack of polish because it limits what kind of stories they can tell.
Listen, all I'm saying is that if you showed an MCU bro fucking want like 5 episodes of Dawn Brothers, that would be like showing a fucking Victorian child like an iPod or something. Okay. It would. Yeah,
I don't know. I think if you, I think you would show them, Dome Brother Pink, and they would go, "What the fuck is this like Matrix Reloaded shit?" And then turn off the TV.
No, but this is why you gotta Clockwork Orange them to it. You gotta strap them to the chair. They cannot leave until they've watched all 5 episodes on loop for about a few days.
The black one, and they go, "Why is there a Sonic character there?"
I can fix them.
Yeah, is that what this is? Is this your I can fix them?
This
like
is my
hill to die on?
This is my I can fix them. I can get people into Kamen Rider. I know it. I believe we can at least. I think you could convince a weeb before you could convince an MCU person. That's what I think. Genuinely.
Oh, I mean, yeah. There's some closer. There's some closeness. Yeah. My girlfriend's been in the room while I watch Ultraman. And then she goes, "Oh, I like that rat." And then she looks up again and goes, "What happened to the rat?" And I said, "He exploded violently."
Oh no. Poor guy. Oh. Was that it for the Ultraman thing?
That is it for Ultraman. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, no. So yeah, you were watching Gamera, and then what else after Gamera?
I saw Trap.
Yes, you saw Trap, the new M. Night.
So listen, I get hyperbolic. I'm not gonna lie. I love movies. I love a lot of movies. I love a lot of things. That's just the kind of person that I am.
Film.
I will give a lot of shit on, like, if you check my Letterboxd, I will genuinely give a ton of shit 5s because I don't really give a fuck. Like, I don't put that heavy of weight into scores. That's just not how I am. I tend to give scores.
I think scores are BS.
I tend to give scores to feelings. So, like, if I really fuck with something, I'm going to give it a 5. And there's, like, ranges in that 5. But, like, generally speaking, I just love movies. Trap is, like, my favorite M. Night film out of, like, the 4 that I've seen otherwise. I love Trap. Trap rules. Trap is, like... I don't know if y'all have seen it or are going to see it.
You've convinced me to go see it. I don't know when I'm going to see it because The Crow is right around the corner, and that is number 1 priority.
That is fair. If you're going to go see that, I might go see that then. I wasn't sure if I was... I wasn't sure if I was going to commit to it.
With a mutual friend to go see it.
Okay, let me know when you go see it, and I'll try to go see it either in the same time frame or a little after.
Yeah, we're shooting for Tuesday. I'm gonna go see it with one of our book club buddies.
Okay, sweet.
The Crow is Barbie for white boys. Like we gotta gotta show out. Gotta show out.
Gotta represent. So, Trap is like, I love Trap because Trap is a thriller where you are in the predator's perspective, right? Or it is a like suspense thriller where you are in like the predator's perspective, and it is a movie where like, because again, y'all haven't seen it, so I don't want to go too heavy into spoilers, but basically it is him going like, how the fuck do I get out of here? And him trying to hitman his way out of this concert. It is so, it's goofy. It's but like the suspense still really works. It's genuinely thrilling. There's some like Hitchcock-ish things to it. There's some really cool, like, I forget what the term is. I think it's like a diopter shot or something like that. There's like some cool like split kind of shots. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not good with film terms. I'm not going to lie to you. But
oh, me too. Yeah, I totally feel that. But
they do. They're the way that they use the camera, the way that they like frame certain shots, the way that they do, especially like close-ups in that movie, and the way that they do these kind of split frames is so sick. It's so cool. And people complain about the dialogue in that film, but I genuinely think it just adds to the vibe of like, this guy is trying to kind of keep up this sitcom dad thing. Cause it's kind of slowly peeling away, and he can't control it. It's so good. It sounds interesting. I will give away one small funny bit that I love. So there's a bit where like, so you know at concerts how like in the audience stands, sometimes they'll have like that under part of the stadium, and they'll like bring people up like in the audience, and then they'll like run up to the stage.
Yeah, totally.
So there's a bit where like that trap door opens and somebody comes out to like go out to the stage, and the dad looks at it and he looks back at his daughter and he goes like, honey, look, I wonder what's down there. Isn't that so cool? Like he just came out of there. What if you and me went down there together? And she just looks at him and goes like, Dad, what the fuck are you talking about? We'll get in trouble. No. And he's like, no, come on. Look, it's really cool. Like, and he's talking like a dad in a sitcom trying to like set up a bit. It's so fucking funny. Is there a little bit of weird M. Night dialogue? Because he oh yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. But like I really think it works for the movie. I think like, because I think there's movies where his dialogue, I don't think his dialogue works super well. And then there's movies where I think it really does. Like, I think it works perfect in Signs because the whole family is kind of weird. And I think it works really well for Trap because, like, the dad is weird. He's a serial killer, right?
He's breaking mentally.
Yeah, and he's breaking mentally. So like his weirdness and the weird dialogue he says really works.
I could see that. I'm interested. I want to make some time to go see it.
Yeah, it's a banger. It's a banger. That like genuinely like to be fair, I haven't seen like that many movies that came out this year. I think Trap is my favorite though so far. Trap is like my number one right now.
Okay, yeah, no, I haven't seen too much this year either. I really like.
Being my second.
I did really like In a Violent Nature. That was real good.
I forgot that came out. Fuck. Oh, I missed that. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
But
what else? What else you got for this month?
I watched every Alien film that I hadn't seen, and Romulus. So I'm not gonna waste time like going through all the details of each one. So I'm just gonna say kind of a short thing for each because there's a lot. So I watched Alien. So I started it with Alien Resurrection because I'd seen Alien, Aliens, and Alien 3. And if you want to know my opinion on those, Alien's a masterpiece. Aliens is an action masterpiece. And then Alien 3 is ass. I fucking hate that movie. Alien Resurrection.
That's the Fincher one, right?
Yes. So I watched, and before people ask, I watched the assembly cut. I still hated it.
Okay. My dad and we burned through those movies in a weekend. I forgot why. I don't think it had anything to do with a release. I think we just
sometimes you're just
went
feeling
through
it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just feeling it, you know? And so Alien Resurrection it's interesting. I think its biggest problem is its dialogue holds it back. Because Joss Whedon wrote that script, and it's a Joss Whedon movie.
The Joss Whedon part of it.
Yes, but it's also filmed by the director of Amelie, the French movie. Mm-hmm. The one with the poster. You know what it is, audience.
Yeah.
But that movie has moments that are genuinely really interesting and really compelling to watch. And it's also like kind of queer too. It's interesting. I really like the relationship between Clone Ripley and Call a lot. I really like certain character dynamics. I love Brad Dourif in that movie. He's so great.
I love Brad Dourif. He is so good
in that. He is so fucking good in that movie.
I mean,
that dude wants to fuck the aliens so bad in that movie. It's so funny. It's so good.
He's such a great horror presence every time he appears in something.
Agreed. But yeah, I really liked Resurrection by the end. I think its biggest problem is the dialogue kind of sucks. But otherwise, I do think that when it's cooking, it's got some sauce. It's cooking. It's interesting.
Yeah, from the man who brought you What Happens to Toads When They Get Electrocuted by Lightning. The same thing as everything else.
Wait, what's that from?
That is from the first X-Men movie. That is a Joss Whedon line.
What? Oh.
Yeah, do you not remember that? That's what Halle Berry says to not Ray Fiennes.
I'm gonna be real. I haven't seen the X-Men movies since I was like a kid.
Ray Park.
Yeah, I need to rewatch those. I had a friend talking about those actually recently. I might rewatch the first three again sometime.
I could go for a rewatch of those. Anyways.
Anyway, then I watched Prometheus. Yeah, that film's bad.
On to the next one.
I wanted to like it. Its characters make really dumb decisions in ways that just feel very annoying to watch. Like, I'm okay with characters. Like, I'm not going to nitpick a film to death, but like, there were points in that movie where I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like,
yeah.
And there's some funny bits. When it gets kind of stupid, it's entertaining at least. But yeah. Then I watched Alien Covenant. Top 3 Alien. Fuck you. That's like the third best Alien film. I don't care what nobody says. That's spite. That is peak spite cinema. All right.
I didn't hear a lot about it.
that is a movie about how God hates you, so like you should just kill God. That is like, it is a film about how it is a no gods, no masters ass movie. Like, it is visceral. It is violent in a brutal ass way that like in like a mean, cruel way. Like, a lot of the violence in that movie is fucking horrible to watch. It is like, there are multiple points in that movie that made me genuinely fucking wince. Like, I was like, what the fuck? It does.
I mean, that's what an alien movie should do. That, like, when I think of alien,
I think that
the first
it depends.
movie.
I think it majorly depends on the focus, because like watching Alien freaks me out. There's freaky shit in it, don't get me wrong. But I think overall it's kind of about the creeping dread of it, right?
Yeah, that's fair. But what I personally think of is in the first movie, the scene where the chest burster first appears. I guess Ridley Scott didn't give them, like, the story is like Ridley Scott didn't really tell them what was going to happen. Or like how
they knew the character was gonna die, but they didn't tell him. They didn't tell the cast like what exactly was going to happen.
Yeah, so I forget who, but one of the actors, they like yell like, "Oh God!" when it happens. That's because she had no clue that a little puppet was gonna shoot out of his chest like one of those worms in a can.
They probably thought they accidentally entered the set of Roar, and you know what?
Yeah,
I understand. I would have been freaked out too. I would have been like, "What the fuck?" But so Covenant, it's just, I do think it's held back like a little bit. That's why it's not like, I do think it's held back a little bit
in a long movie franchise. That's pretty solid.
It's so, and listen, I'm the unpopular opinion on that one. I don't care. I think that film rips. I think it's fucking raw as hell. Also, David is like the best character ever. He is so funny. He's just a little guy. It is his birthday. He is the birthday boy forever. He just wants to cause a little mischief. Is that so wrong? You know? You just gotta watch it.
It's Michael Fassbender, right? The David robot?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I saw Romulus in theaters. In IMAX.
Ooh.
So
how was Romulus?
Romulus is so I enjoyed it, but I do have issues with it, and the biggest issues is all the fan service. So like, I wouldn't mind if the movie homaged the others, which it does, but my issue is that it over relies on tons of fan service to the point of doing the whole like, look, we CG'd an actor.
That's annoying.
Yeah. And it's like, gross. Why did you do this? Why did you do this?
Because this one it's after the first Alien, right? Like, they're looking for the ship from the first movie?
Yep, they're looking for the Nostromos. Yep.
Yeah, the Nostromos. Such a good ship. Nostromos is such a good ship.
It is. But
it's such a good set.
It's because, I went into this looking for Evil Dead 2013. I love Evil Dead 2013.
Which is also an unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion. That's like my favorite Evil Dead. And I love every Evil Dead thing. I'd say the only thing for me that tops that is Ash versus the Evil Dead. I love that show. But Evil Dead 2013, I think, is like a perfect remake. I love that movie. Like, I think it expands upon what the original Evil Dead does, and it makes it, and it kind of commits more to like the cruel horror violence in a way that's very appealing to me. And it has one of like my favorite horror movie climaxes pretty much ever. Like, I love that movie. I've seen it like 4 times. I
dig it more than most. I guess that movie has like a pretty solid cult following at this point.
It's me. I'm the cult following it.
I dig it. I dig it a decent amount. I don't dig it as much as you.
That's fair.
I definitely get that on the climax. It goes pretty off the chain.
Goes so hard.
Yeah, no, but so like seeing when I found out that he was doing Romulus, it definitely had me interested.
Yeah. And so for me, it's at its best when it's kind of committing to its own stuff and it's committing a bit harder to that violence and committing harder to that like really visceral horror stuff. Like those are some of the best parts of the movie, and they are frequent enough to where I had a really fun time with it overall. And the ending is crazy. Even if they kind of pull it a bit from another movie, I think they make it freakier in a way that works. That's all I'll say.
Cool.
But I do wish that it didn't rely as much on the fan service, because it makes the whole film kind of feel like this is a greatest hits compilation of
And yeah, that's a bummer.
of alien movies, and that's like fine, I guess. But it's like, this could have been like Covenant good, though. This could have been like Alien or Aliens, you know?
No, and that's really hard with long-standing franchises, is finding the balance between showing reverence for what came before, but also doing your own thing and standing on your own two legs.
Yeah. Because like seriously, like there's a really good scene. It's in the trailers where like they are running from face huggers, and the way that scene is shot and like put together and like the tension of it. There's a really good scene where they have to fight off fucking face huggers with like a baton or whatever in a room, in a cryo chamber room, and that scene rules. There's some like really good bits, and there's some really interesting stuff with like Andy as a character who's like the machine they have on board, or the android they have on board.
Oh, they reset the alphabet?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
Interesting. Okay.
So,
Deidra, in all the Alien movies, the androids are named in alphabetical order. It's a fun fact for you.
I see.
So they have Andy, and I really like Andy and the main character Rain's dynamic a lot, because it's like a brother-sister thing. But my only issue is that Andy is a black character, and Rain is white, and Andy's entire purpose, like literally his like mission statement from Rain's dad, is to do what's best for Rain. And is kind of like serving her. And he's kind of this like magical Negro trope in a way that was very like, what are you like? What are you
why
guys
did he
doing?
have to be the black one?
That's what I was saying. I would feel a little less bad about it if there was another black character. And I mean, to be fair, the cast was pretty diverse overall, but there's only one black character, and he's the android who serves this white woman. And again, also to be fair, part of his arc too is that like for a bit he really switches up his priorities and like what he's doing, it to like a negative degree. But like, I don't know. So I'm a little torn on it, because there are aspects of his character that I really, like there are aspects of his character that I genuinely do really like, and I really love the performance. I just think that they should have thought through more of it, or just not had him be an android. Yeah. I think just that would have maybe been better.
Just make him an older brother, just explicitly.
Yeah, just make him an older brother, and just commit to the same, because you could commit absolutely to the same ideas. Just make him like a technician or something. Make him somebody who understands how to like open doors. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's better they could have done.
No, it reminds me of when they did the Marvel thing, Inhumans, and they made the character Karnak. They made Karnak Asian, and making Karnak Asian makes him play into a bunch of Asian stereotypes, even though he's never been explicitly any ethnicity before. And also in the same vein, that in that weird TV movie they did, the most like physically different Inhuman. I don't want to say inhuman because that's a stupid sentence. The one with the goat legs is the one they made a black guy, when you had a lady with moving hair and a guy who just can't talk, and they made both of those white. It was just like very particular of like where you decide to add diversity.
It's a thing where like even if they didn't do it, like I don't think that I maybe I'm giving too much benefit of the doubt, but I don't think they did it like purposefully.
No,
I think it's more unconscious bias, maybe, or maybe it's a thing where they wrote a character a certain way, and that's just how the casting shook out. I don't know because I haven't read the script.
Yeah, it's 100%. It could be any number of things.
Yeah, but overall, I still really liked it. I'm excited to rewatch it. I think I will visit that movie again more than probably like. I'm definitely gonna revisit that movie more than like Prometheus. Or fucking Alien 3, to be honest. But I view it kind of on the same tier as like Resurrection and our next movie, Alien versus Predator. Because I was in a mood, I was in a kick, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I really want to watch AVP 1 and 2. AVP is a Toku movie. It just is. It just is. Okay. That scene, there's a scene.
I think I have both of them sitting behind me, but I haven't actually watched them.
Listen, like, is the first one dumb as shit? Yes. I'm not gonna fucking sit here and try to bullshit. It's dumb as hell. But, like, you're watching Alien versus Predator. Were you expecting something? Yeah, were you expecting, like, fucking high art? Come on now. Paul W.S. Anderson is a perfect director for movies exactly like this. He knew what the assignment was. He puts two dudes in rubber suits and has to beat the shit out of each other. That's what it's fucking about, baby. That's AVP. It's dumb as hell. A black woman teams up with a predator. It's sick as fuck. There's a lot of aliens explode. They commit to like, so like it's PG-13. I watched the unrated cut, but it's PG-13 originally. So like a lot of the blood and gore is all from aliens, which is funny.
Yeah, because isn't that acidic?
Yeah, it's all green on both ends. So it's like...
No, but I also mean like literally it eats metal.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So
they do address that. Okay.
Yeah. No, they literally use it to like give her the predator mark on her face.
Okay.
Like there's a whole thing at the end. It's very funny. Like genuinely, if they made if there was like some spin-off with her and that predator just like kicking ass, taking names, that'd be pretty sick. I gotta be honest. Like a Toku spin-off, like Toku Spider-Man or something. That'd be funny.
Henshin predator belt.
They give her a combi stick at the end. It's so funny.
Perfect.
And then I watched AVP Requiem, which is one of the most baffling, weird movies I've ever seen. That movie is lit like shit. You can't see half of it half the time. And that movie is a movie that mostly takes place at night. Like,
weird.
I'm gonna, like, hold on. I'm gonna post a screenshot in the chat. Actually, I'll just post the fucking tweet I made in the chat. Just give me a second. I want y'all to look at these.
Because admittedly, night in movies never actually looks like night.
No,
but there's like a reason for that.
Yeah, I want you to look at those screenshots from that tweet.
God, what year was this?
This was 2007.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
So,
I feel like this was kind of around at that time.
So it was, but the thing is, when you look at a lot of gritty night scenes from around the time, they're still lit in a way where you can read what's happening. The problem, like, look at that first one. That's during the day in a room surrounded by windows. That should not look like that at all.
No, the contrast on that is crazy.
And for listeners, let me explain. So there is a scene at the end of that movie where they do like a Wayland not even a Wayland tease. They do like a Wayland Yutani company tease or whatever. And so it's this lady standing in this room and they go like, "Oh, Miss Yutani, we've blah, blah, blah." And she turns to face the camera and she's completely covered in shadow in a room during the day surrounded by light. You can't see her face well at all. It's very weird. I don't even know what they were trying to reveal. It's so weird. But
yeah, very, because it's not like that's a reoccurring character even, right? Like,
no, I didn't recognize her at all.
yeah.
But so the biggest and it's kind of a shame because the idea of aliens, but it's also the crazies and Predator is like really cool. That's like such a cool premise. And it commits like harder to the violence. It's like crueler in a way that I think is kind of interesting. It has one really kind of stupid but funny idea with like, there's a part where the Predalien, because the Predalien's like the big draw of this one. So there's a part where the Predalien goes into a maternity ward and fills all the pregnant women with aliens. It's very fucked up. It's very weird. And it's kind of goofy in a way. It makes me, like, I'm of two minds about it, because on one hand, I'm like, that's kind of insane in a way that's really funny. But on the other hand, it's also like, why the fuck? What?
I mean, we're here, again, it's Alien versus Predator, so...
Yeah. It's a thing of like, okay. Like, it feels like the movie was just trying to one-up in a lot of ways, and I don't think they're all successful. I also think the cast is too big. Like, there's too many human characters, and none of them matter. Like, all of them are just very one-note or boring. They kind of exist to just either die or have their get to the chopper moment. Like, it's very silly. Yeah. I view it on the same level as Prometheus. I probably will never watch it again. Yeah. But that's all the movies I watched. I'm going to speed through kind of the rest of what I did, because I've been talking for like fucking, 30 minutes to like 30, 40 minutes now.
Yeah, whatever. It happens. It happens.
True. For games, I played Crow Country.
Oh yeah, I got a bone. I have a word with you, young lady. God damn it.
It was cool.
Yeah, I do have a stern word with you.
Haha.
So, not all of the bosses are optional.
Okay.
I could only think of one optional boss.
I could have sworn like a few of them are.
Because a few of them are hard progression blockers. Like, there's the dude who pops out when you do the cemetery puzzle.
Yeah.
And then there's the dude who pops out.
I might have. Not all of them are optional, but there are more that are optional that are surprising that they're optional. That's mainly what I meant.
Okay.
So like, okay. My Crow Country opinion is that I think it's cool. I think I'll like it more on replays. I just haven't replayed it yet. And I might replay it before the end of the year, but we'll see what happens.
And there is something to be said about a game that is meant to be replayed, because Crow Country is meant to be replayed.
Yes.
It gives you a score. There are secret puzzles that it doesn't tell you the solution to. There are secret collectibles.
That game is filled with shit. It is. Yeah. I haven't felt that way about a game since like Silent Hill 1. In the sense of, or not. I haven't felt that way since I've played. There's other fucking survival horror games that I adore, but I mean it in the sense of like, that game reminds me a lot of Silent Hill 1 in a lot of very good ways.
Yeah.
And also Silent Hill 3 in a lot of very specific ways. And those are still good ways. But I need to replay it. I think that there's just parts where I was like, this is good. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a good time. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan, and this is going to sound really funny coming from somebody who's a dumbass when it comes to puzzles. I kind of wish they didn't just spell out the solution to all the main puzzles in the game. Because they do it a lot.
So what did you mean? What did you mean they spelled them? Like what part of you was saying that they spelled them out?
I would say for most puzzles, there's like one or two where they don't near the end, and I liked those more. They put a note pretty much right next to the puzzle that tells you what the solution is.
Couldn't you just like not read the note?
Yeah, but why wouldn't you? It's right there.
Okay. Yeah, it's not up to Sam to balance the game in that.
You know what I mean? Regard. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I could just not read it, and that's true. But at the same time, why put it there if it's not? Because, like, I'm the type of person, I'm going to read every note. Like, I just am. Mm-hmm. So I don't think I should be punished for wanting to get more out of the game. You know what I mean? And for wanting to engage with it.
I feel like it would be there to make sure that people aren't stuck on the puzzles, but I don't know. Maybe better signposting could be done with that. I haven't played the game. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Or even just like what they do for like the later Silent Hill games, like 2 and 3, where there's like an action difficulty and like a puzzle difficulty.
Sure.
Where maybe if you raise the puzzle difficulty, it just gets rid of the notes. Or something.
Yeah, that would totally be handy for that game, especially because I think that game is a good entry point to survival horror.
Because I feel like when I talked about it with you, Robin, I made it sound like it being easy was a problem. I don't have an issue with it being easy. I just wish more of it felt like I felt like I didn't really have to deal with enemies ever, or not ever. I'm not going to be hyperbolic about it, but I felt like there were a lot of points where I really didn't have to deal with anything.
You have an issue with how it was easy, not the fact that it was easy.
Yeah, I guess it's the fact of how it's laid out. Because like Resident Evil games, and I'm not like an expert at like the classic RE stuff, but it's clearly emulating that more so. It's those games are big, important about enemy positioning, about resource management, about like what you're doing and like how you get through an encounter and how you get through like with what you have, how you can get from point A to point B, how you can kite and avoid enemies. And here it feels like each space tends to be so open. Again, near the end and in the underground especially, I feel like they do deal with this in more interesting ways by kind of constricting the environments better. But for most of them, I feel like it's pretty easy to just kite around everything and like not have to actually deal with anything if you don't want to. And so it makes the game feel kind of like really easy because of that, because you really don't have to deal with anything and you could just hoard resources. And the solution to this is they patched in a hard mode. So I should try that.
You should try that, but I would say as a framing device for the game being good, entry-level survival horror. A good thing about survival horror that I don't think any game teaches you until it's too late is to not expend your resources. And so by showing people that you can get away really easily, it gives you a different option to like learn how to hang on to your bullets and your med kits and use them when you actually need to and not just try to gun down everything.
That's fair.
But again, it also you're not the first person who I've heard complain about the difficulty. I know from a lot of like it is one of those things that the way the game's difficulty plays out, like it's either your one issue with the game or you don't care about it at all, and that's exactly what's going on here. Yeah,
like for me, it's like I look at it kind of like. I look at this game basically as I look at something like Hi-Fi Rush, where I think it's a perfect entry point to the genre.
Yeah.
I think like if you have been trying to get into, because like also like it is creepy, it is spooky, there's some little scary bits in it, but I don't think it's
somber by the end.
But I don't think it's too scary. To where like it would like be off-putting to somebody who's trying to get into games like this.
No, I really want to try.
And maybe they can only handle like a certain amount of horror or something.
Yeah, I really want to try the puzzle only mode. Have you heard about what they do with that?
No, what do they do with that?
So for Deidra, you as well, because there's a mode of Crow Country where there's no combat and it's just puzzles. So it makes the game way, again, more somber, like right up front, because you see the monsters, but they're all dead by the time you get there. So you're just walking through Crow Country, and it is just littered with these weird corpses.
Okay, I might actually play that mode. Genuinely, I didn't know that did that. I might like the game more like that, to be honest.
So, and also to keep in mind, the traps are still there. So, like the little poison crows and the
so you
traps
still have
that
to
fall
keep
from the ground.
So you still have to keep an eye on your health and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But the enemies are all dead.
I will give that mode a shot sometime.
Because that, sounds really interesting.
And again, maybe I sound more negative on it than I am. I liked the game. I like Crow Country a lot. I really do appreciate a lot about it. I don't know. The standards in my mind are weird when it comes to games like this. And when I inherently look at something as a throwback game, it is difficult for me to break away from that. But I'm trying.
No, of course.
And I think I think replays of it will help. Like I really and honestly, it made me want to finish Signalis, which is funny. But yeah,
they would be the two sitting next to each other. It makes me really want to try a totally different dev team. Fear the Spotlight when it comes out later this year. I definitely want to get my hands on that.
Hell yeah. I'm trying to think of what else. I also played. This will be like a really short thing. I tried the FF16 demo, and that was, I played half of FF16. I like that game. It's cool. The PC version, I don't know if this was also on PS5. Some people have said that it was for the demo, at least. It has a weird, like, ghosting effect. But otherwise, I think that it seems like a pretty good port.
Yeah, sounds
Don't really...
neat.
I'll save the more I have for it for when I eventually finish that game.
Yeah.
And then last thing, I've been reading manga. I'm caught up on Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, I don't know if you were following the group formerly known as the Super Best Friends when this happened, but when Baiken got added to Guilty Gear Rev 2, and Wooly's Twitter went from just him to Baiken Town, you did that with Chainsaw Man.
I did that with Chainsaw Man. I got obsessed with Chainsaw Man. I was
As you should.
Because I'd seen the anime, and before the anime, I'd read like the first 5 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
But I fell in complete love. I love Chainsaw Man. I love Chainsaw Man.
It's correct. You are correct.
It's so good. It's so good. It is like, I love the way that it interrogates. I especially love the way part 2 interrogates the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, and audience reactions to Chainsaw Man. And specifically to Fujimoto and how he's handling the story. It constantly is telling you, like, I love seeing discussions of Chainsaw Man online because it just tells me that people are just not getting what the story is saying at all. It's people trying to tell Fujimoto, like, where he should take the story, and there are multiple characters making fun of them for doing that, like, constantly. And it's about how, like, Fujimoto's going to do his own thing, and like Denji just wants to live his life the way he wants to, but he feels a lot of controlling external factors trying to do so for him.
Yep, and Chainsaw Man is in fact wonderful.
Also, fuck Makima. Fucking, if I see Makima, it's on site,
It's
bro.
on site?
It's on site. Fuck Makima. Fucking hate Makima. And then I'll save the next manga I've been reading until I finish it, because I want to talk about it a bit more in depth, but I want to kind of settle my thoughts on it.
Okay.
All right. With that, I think it's time to end some zones, huh?
Let's do it. Let's hop aboard our orbital frame and try to get to Mars.
All right, so now that we're to it, I guess to start off, what did y'all overall? How were your feelings by like the end of the game? Like, how do you feel about Zone of the Enders? Like just general.
So I
feelings.
actually liked Zoe more than I thought I would. Overall, I dug and actually like fucked with the game more than I initially thought I would. Not that I don't know. Like I guess you just always hear that Zoe 1 is like skippable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed my time with it. There's a little parts of it that bugged me a little bit, just in how the game flows. But we'll get into that a little bit more in more detail later.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Deidra?
I fucking hated this game. This was, I mean, okay. I knew very little about this game going in, but I'm not like, I'm not
famous mecha hater.
I'm not a neutral observer. There were two things that I knew about this game, and one that it was about mecha, which is strike one, and two is that Hideo Kojima is involved, which is strike two.
No.
So I tried to go into it, with an open mind and tried to stay positive anyway.
Yeah. That's fair.
But outside of a scant few things, I have very little positive to say about my experience with this game.
Wow.
Oh,
Total polar opposite opinions. That's wild as hell.
oh,
Well,
damn! This is DMC1 payback with a vengeance.
it's true. It is really funny. Well, the thing is, I don't hate DMC1. I just don't really fuck with it anymore.
As near as I could tell, Sammy, from what you said about it, you really want to like DMC1.
Yes.
This was just kind of a bad time to be playing it, which I completely understand.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if I like this game. I hated it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is just a totally different thing.
Unfortunately, any time is a bad time to play Zone of the Enders for Deidra.
Exactly.
Well, damn, I didn't know you fucking hated mecha so much. Shit.
Well, now you've learned something about me.
Well, now I now I know if I ever need to get payback, I know exactly where to go back to.
There's plenty of mecha content, and I can assure you I hate pretty much all of it.
Oh, shit. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I mean, I will go into my, I guess while we're on the negative note, I'll go into my issue with the game, which is I found the backtracking kind of tiresome.
Yeah.
I didn't. Mm-hmm. It felt like filler. It felt like fluff.
Yeah. It
personally,
there's definitely bits of this game that 100% feel like they kind of waste your time because they don't tell you specifically where to go, which I kind of like.
No, not at all.
I kind of like that you have to like explore each map, but because of like how long getting into each map takes, just because the loading and shit, and because of like how it doesn't necessarily point you towards like exactly what you're even fully looking for at some points, it ends up feeling like it's kind of wasting your time to pad out the runtime. Like, it's a game that really should be probably like 2 hours, but it's like 3 or 4. And it's strictly because, like, you can just get lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that happen a couple times. I also, There was like little story pacing stuff that I didn't really dig. Like all the scenes of the characters talking, it like zooms you into the first person cockpit view, and I kind of wish again I could have just been moving around. It felt like I was stationary for no real reason. Like the scenes weren't even that long, just they add up as you're going throughout the game.
But it's to
and I
give
guess sometimes you want to want
Sorry.
to have the moment breathe, but sometimes it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, it's about feeling like Amuro. You know? It's about like being
feeling like Amuro.
It's about like being in that cockpit and just kind of being in like Leo's perspective and being like, damn, I just killed like 20 people. That sucks. That's some shit.
No, and I dug that. Like the missions where you're going through and trying to make sure people didn't die. I accidentally let a lot of people die. And you just hear like an explosion and screaming. That was really effective and cool. I really liked that.
I think the environment destruction is actually one of the positive things I have to say about the game.
Yeah.
I think in the context of this being like a space mecha game, it made a lot of sense. And it was really neat. Like when I got to the first like rescue mission, I kind of expected the city to just get more and more destroyed as time went on, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But no, it gets destroyed due to direct actions against it, and I thought that was actually really cool and interesting.
Yeah. No, it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
and I'm glad we watched Gundam 0079. I watched it before I played it because I wanted to go into the game with that connection in mind. And yeah, no, I think you were right. You absolutely see similarities. Like Leo is wearing a outfit that's a very clear send up to Amuro's outfit in those first few episodes.
Yeah, like 100%. It's like, it's not 1-to-1, but it's close.
Yeah, and like obviously the main antagonist having a red mecha is not an accident either.
Yeah, it plays very much into the kind of like rival character tropes of Gundam series, and I think that's pretty cool. Well, not always a rival character. It depends on the series. It depends on what it's doing. But generally, from the ones I've watched. But, yeah, no, like, I remember, like, watching 0079 for the first time. And this was, like, way after I'd played Zone of the Enders, like, twice, right? And I just remember being like, oh shit, this is, they like just took the intro of 0079 and like just made it into like a 4-hour game. That's really funny. Like,
no, I do wonder how much of that is just like Gundam established the language of mecha shows.
Oh, 100%.
But a lot of it does feel more intentional than that.
It definitely feels like both. Like, the best way I would describe this game to somebody is, like, if they're a Gundam fan, I would say, just legitimately, it is like playing the first episode. It's like playing the first episode of the show. There's pretty direct parallels character-wise to, like, certain characters who pop up. There's direct parallels with Leo and, like, Amuro. There's pretty direct parallels, like, with a lot of visual, like, ideas and stuff. But then it also does, like, its own shit. And it does manage to stand out and still have, like, its own identity as, like, its own thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, so I swear I heard an interview. Like, I heard that this was the point, but I couldn't find anything saying that it was, like... But the cockpit pun is the point, right? Like that's
yes. They are indeed literal cockpits,
which is I really like the designs in Zoe.
Oh, that's good because I absolutely hate
them. The cockpits are unfortunate.
They look so fucking stupid.
There's one so I haven't watched any of like the anime shit yet. What is it? I'm going to before I make like the video I'm gonna make on this game. But like I the only image I've ever seen from like that anime specifically, or from I think it's from I Dolores, I think. It's like, I think it's Viola's mech, or maybe it's, I don't know, or I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but like it's one of the mechs, and it's just like, I think it's like a dream sequence or something where like the mech is like in like a maid outfit in like a cafe, and the cockpit is just fucking like sticking out of the apron in like a really goofy ass way. Like it's I don't know. I think it's like it's a goofy fun thing. I think it gives the designs like some fun stupid ass dumbass flavor. I fuck with it personally.
It's a choice.
While we're on this topic,
yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
It kind of bothered me that Viola's mech had boobs.
But it's a lady. She's a lady.
Oh
mech.
yeah, a woman's piloting it, so we gotta let the viewer know, I guess.
She's a lady mech.
They gotta know, even though like all her companions' mechs are like weird and fucked up.
Yeah, they're like not humanoid at all.
No, they're like.
No, they're all bugs.
Yeah.
Which one was my favorite? Was it Tempest? No, Tempest is the first one. What was the one in the dam? I really liked that one. I can't remember the fucking name right now, but
Is that Tyrant?
I think so. Let me check real
I
quick.
thought Tyrant was
it's
before.
Tempest, Tyrant.
No, Tyrant is the one. Tyrant is the second.
Is that the big beetle?
That's the second. It's the second boss. It's the one where it's like surrounded by all the buildings, and you need decoy to fight it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I felt so stupid doing that one because I was like, I just kind of like burst shot is like your best friend throughout any boss encounter.
I think Tyrant was like my first game over on this playthrough.
Okay.
Because normally I tend to not do too bad. Overall it's a pretty easy game, to be honest. But like,
no, it's not that tricky. I would just forget about burst shot at times.
Yeah.
And I went into that fight and I got game over not using because I didn't have decoy, so he just like one shot me.
I ended up finding out that I think like the best strategy was like, what was it? If you just like shoot the little like laser, not the lasers, so not the burst beam, but just like the regular laser shots. If you just fucking mash square, you can just whittle that motherfucker's health down like extremely quick.
Yeah, no, I would just like get really far away from him, do burst shot, and that would just take out like huge chunks of his health.
Was it Nebula? I think it's Nebula. Yeah, it was Nebula. Nebula's the one in the dam. I really liked that fight. I really liked that design. But yeah, it's funny that Viola's it's the girl mech. Of course she has boobs.
And a little skinny waist, she's gotta have her. God, do you think there's a document that has the mech's 3 measurements anywhere?
Absolutely.
That's gotta be a thing.
100,000%. There's no doubt in my mind. I will see if I can find it when like
Hideo Kojima probably has that on his computer to this day.
It's funny because from what I remember, and I could be totally wrong, I don't know how actually deeply involved in the series he was outside of being a producer, which I mean you're going to be involved, but like
No, yeah, this game is not his baby.
I tried to look around because I was curious, and I found a lot of articles stating that he was like the creator, but I couldn't find a credit beyond producer. It's bizarre.
Yeah, that's one of those situations. It's like that one quote that always goes around every now and again, where it's like Warren Spector said like years ago, like, I think that certain people get all the credit on like a game project when it's really a collaborative effort, and then it says Warren Spector, creator of Deus Ex and Thief or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay.
I figure it's just because it's Kojima, so people want to attribute whatever they can to him.
Yeah, it's wild. Not to go on a too long of a tangent real quick. I remember a while ago I was looking at like some G4 stuff just cuz I do that sometimes. It's like a weird interest of mine, but Kojima, I didn't realize Kojima worship went back to like the early 2000s. Like people were doing like the same shit. Well, like so like I was aware of it. I guess I just wasn't aware of like the extent of it. Like
I know I hinted at it, but if you want to know why I have a resentment for Kojima, it's because I've been fucking living with his name for my entire goddamn life and I've never seen the hype.
Well, so what I think of is like one of the what I think of is because I've never actually listened to Giant Bomb. It's just I've listened to all the children of Giant Bomb.
Yeah.
But like there's an old episode of that where one of the guys was like, "Oh yeah, I don't like anime," and then talks about how much he likes Metal Gear and all the shit that he likes in Metal Gear.
Yeah,
and all of his buddies
Dan.
being like, "Jackass, that's anime."
That's a video gamified anime. Yeah.
Yep, that's fucking Dan Reichert. He loves Metal Gear. He can't get into anime. Dan has bizarre ass opinions. I fucking love Dan. Oh my god.
He's a treasure.
He really is. But anyway, but MGS3 though, Deidra. But MGS3.
Okay. All right. The piece of me lore you've learned is that I don't like mecha. The follow-up, you know what I hate even more than mecha?
Oh no.
Stealth games.
Oh. Well, I guess I know what shenanigans I can pull eventually, but
there's a lot.
I'll have to save those.
Is there a stealth mech game that we can find? Kind of
probably
perfect overlap of the two?
I feel like Zone of the Enders has to have, given that how many like gimmicks and little mission ideas that game does. I feel like a stealth mission has to exist in that game, but I could be totally wrong.
There is that one bit where you have 1 HP.
I love that section. That section's so good.
I thought it was really funny getting out of the thing. It's like, we have to cure the virus, and then there's a fucking rescue mission that pops up, and I'm like, I see what you motherfuckers are doing.
I love that one. It's fucked up because I think it's all like really easy enemies, but you have 1 HP, so it's a fuck you. I didn't do it. I was like,
yeah, Deidra, but that's just Dante Must Die mode. Do you not like Dante Must Die?
I mean, not really, but also like that's in a game where I can tolerate the combat on a basic level. So,
yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. Like don't get me wrong. I saw that and I was like, I know exactly what you're doing, and if I liked this game at all, I would be willing to engage with it. But yeah, I just want to get through, dog.
I didn't do it because I was afraid.
I do like the combat. For Zoe, I like this game more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Because again, I do like this game. I'm just dogpiling because it's funny. But I do enjoy. I did enjoy Zoe 1. As a whole, the combat was interesting. I like the way I think they handle the 3D movement in a really like actually engaging way. I was worried that I was gonna get like a little thrown off because I can get a little vertigo-y with like with like moving into like a 360 plane like that.
Yeah.
But actually, no, I thought it was handled really well.
Yeah, same.
I thought the 3D movement was handled about as well as they could have given the circumstances around it. Just that's like the era when this is developed, it's a PlayStation 2 game, so we're locked to a PlayStation 2 controller.
Yeah.
I didn't really have any problems with the movement specifically. I think a lot of my problems are admittedly just personal bias of like, I'm not picking up what this game is putting down.
Yeah, you just weren't vibing with like anything it was doing. It wasn't really like playing the game itself. It was more just you weren't vibing. You weren't vibing with it on a personal level to the point of like,
this is a fantasy that I do not care about living.
Yeah, that's fair.
For more pointed complaints, I really didn't like the context sensitivity of the game.
Did not like just like how the ranging of combat, shoot, and Melee just being based on range and not two separate buttons.
I would have preferred separate buttons. Just because it creates this annoying, like, oh, I want to get into melee range, but this motherfucker is, like, backing off of me, so I keep shooting him, and he's immune to bullets, so, like, fuck me, I guess.
Yeah. Normally, my strategy for pretty much every fight in the game that wasn't a boss, actually, except for the final boss, it was basically just burst rush in and just fucking slam them.
That's a lot of what I wound up doing in the late game.
I use the grapple a fair amount.
And that's just like, it always worked.
Another big so the other source of context sensitivity with the range thing is actually the grapple, because the other option is the sub-weapons. Yes. And I think the sub-weapons are a really missed opportunity. I think most of them feel like shit.
Oh, I agree with that. It's one of those things where, weirdly enough, so I think the combat is fine, personally, but I do think that it falls into a thing of, like, the game overall is so easy, and I played on normal, and I could have bumped it up, but I didn't. I just wanted the normal experience, you know? So I played it on normal, and it's a relatively easy game. Generally, combat doesn't really ask that much of you. You don't really have to do too much. There's some enemies that you kind of have to consider, like, how they guard shit. You can try to get around them to get, like, more of an advantage on them. But, like, overall, if you just kind of rush them, you can win. And I'm fine with that. And I think that, like, certain ideas that it goes for within each, like, section of the game is pretty interesting. There's cool ideas. The real problem is, but the sub-weapons, like you're saying, I think most of them are bad. There's really only, like, 2 or 3 that are interesting or even good.
I found use out of the halberd and the gauntlet. The gauntlet especially is, like, pretty okay, but you get it really late.
Yeah, for me it was the halberd.
I liked the halberd in combat, like its function. I hated the feeling of using it. Is it the only weapon that inverts?
Maybe.
Inverts?
I think so. Honestly, I didn't use
all of them. That's why I get they made it like that to make it, because otherwise it would be too easy.
Yeah.
To just, like, use, but also I didn't like the way it felt. So trade off.
Felt jank and higher level enemies will kind of just spam dodges if you start using it, and it's like
100%. Okay. So then it's kind of just like, why even use it when you can just rush them? And that was pretty much like, there was like, I think it was halberd was the one I kind of defaulted to, because I forget, is Gauntlet is Gauntlet the healing one?
No, so Gauntlet is like, you kind of just punch out your fist and it just does a projectile.
Yeah,
but it does pretty solid damage for how I wouldn't call it fast. It actually kind of felt really clunky, but it's not as like pretty good damage, but not as committal as the burst shot. So
yeah.
I got use out of the javelins to pop those little floating objectives they have you hit in the map occasionally.
Same.
Which that part I did not like. I didn't really like that part. I thought, again, it just felt like...
Yeah.
It felt like a chore. It felt like random stuff.
Yeah, they do it, like, surprisingly. It's one of those things where you think it's going to happen maybe once or twice, and it happens, like, 4 times, and you're like...
Boy, I sure wish this game didn't make me free aim in this game that's really reliant on its lock-on to, like, function.
Yeah, I basically had to, like, constantly adjust Jehuty
and,
like, float at a certain angle just to shoot what I was trying to fucking shoot on that. And it's like, why did you guys do this? Why can't we just lock onto them? Come on.
I will say
that's what I liked for the spear, because it gives you, or for the javelin, because it gives you it has that nice arc to it, so if you're too close, you can back up and go a little higher.
Yeah, you can plan it a lot better.
Kind of plan your way to hit it. Sorry, Deidra, go ahead.
That's fine. While we're talking about combat, I wanted to say another compliment I had about the game.
Yeah.
Is that I think the enemy level system is cool. I like that enemies don't just get, like, stat buffs as they level up, like, they actually get more aggressive. Like, there's the stupid little flying laser dudes that don't really have melee attacks, they just shoot you. And I think only
and javelin,
I think only at like level 3 onward is when they start to use the annoying unblockable laser.
Yes.
Yep. And like the more they level up, the more they use it, and it's like, oh, that's the move I'm having trouble with. And I think it's genuinely interesting that higher level enemies actually fight differently.
Yeah, same. Like they actually figured out like higher level enemies have different fight patterns that you have to try to learn instead of just they get more health or something like that.
Yeah, and I
the
think
fact that they
was...
have different behavior makes the small roster of enemies actually feel a lot more deep.
I think there's like 3 enemy
you guys,
types.
Like you two
Yeah,
were saying.
it's like 3, maybe 4, I think. Yeah, because there's the
like you two were saying, a level 1 and a level 3 do not behave the same way.
No.
And I think that's really neat and honestly pretty well executed.
That's really cool because
I probably would have been singing its praises again if I liked how the combat felt.
That's fair. I think it's a cool thing where like, because when you beat the game, you unlock versus mode.
Yeah.
And so when you go into that mode, you can like set you can basically set enemies to like whatever level you want. So you can go in and see the difference.
Cool.
Interesting.
The differences. So say you're fighting a computer, because you can fight, locally if you have somebody to play with, or you can fight the computer, and you can set them between level 1 and level 7. I think is the highest it goes. I think.
Okay.
But yeah, you can set it and kind of see how the kind of AI fucks with you, or like what it does, and kind of the different patterns each enemy has. The only thing is you have to unlock each. You have to like unlock each fighter, or you don't have to unlock like all of them. You get like I think 5 by default once you unlock the mode, and then you have to unlock the other 2. And I don't know how you actually unlock them. I'm assuming you probably beat the game on higher difficulties or something.
Or with higher ranks or whatever.
Or yeah, you finish the missions with higher ranks or something. I don't know though. But a funny thing actually, what is it? Did y'all? I mean, I doubt y'all. It's really hard to get this, and I didn't get it for this playthrough, but I'm aware of it. So, if you fuck up on all of the if you like purposely fuck up on like all of the like rescue mission stuff, so like if you go out of your way to like destroy all the buildings and shit, and like do your best to like just completely fuck shit up, you get a bad ending.
Really?
What is the bad ending?
The bad ending is Ada basically says, what is it? I don't know if Sylvie says anything. I forget because it's been a minute, but I'm pretty sure it basically goes like, you do the last one. Ada says like everybody's been eliminated. Really ominous music is playing, and I think you get like a game over basically.
Interesting.
That's
So
funny.
it's just like, shucks, everyone died.
Yeah, everybody died. You're a murderer. Like, what the fuck?
Well, I'm glad I didn't fuck up that bad.
It's really hard to get that ending. Like, if I remember correctly, you basically have to go extremely out of your way to get it.
It sounds like
because I think I was there. I had a few stages where like 50% died.
Oh no, I had that too. Like,
I don't think it got that bad.
It's surprisingly easy to fuck up in those levels, but you can't. It's hard to go all the way, but like especially on your first run, you probably will fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a moment where like I remember I was fighting like 2 enemies. I think it was on like the 2nd or 3rd rescue mission, or no, the 3rd one would have been the hacked one. So it was like the 2nd or the 4th, I think. But I remember there was like an enemy near like a bridge in like a hospital, and my fucking dumbass, I pressed circle instead of holding it to hold the enemy, and I just chucked him straight into the hospital and blew it up. And Ada was like, the environment is being destroyed. And I'm like, oh no, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. And I tried to like get away from there.
When I finished the first one and I saw the like 50% of the city was destroyed, and I just hear Selvi go, "Let's avoid fighting in the city." I was like, "Oh no, I'm sorry."
I pretty much got like, yeah, I remember one of them. I think she was like, "Well, you did your best." I was like, "Oh
Yeah,
no."
exactly. Or like I think when I tried going back into this, when I tried going to the second one, she was like, "Do we have to do this again?" I was like, "Fuck, I'm trying."
Oh my god. I really love I fucking love. I love the rescue missions. I love how they play kind of textually with them too, where like it's kind of Leo is split between like the thing that he just wants to get over with, and like Selvis kind of being the humanity in his ear, saying like, "Hey, you know, like we should go help people. Like this is our home. Like this is where we're from."
Mm-hmm.
And like it's a simple thing, but I like the way that it kind of involves the player in that mindset, and you actually have to make the choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Mm-hmm. I think the rescue missions were neat.
Yeah.
I think they make a lot of sense within the context of this being sort of like a Gundam mecha fantasy game.
Yeah.
And again, I like that property destruction is tied to direct game actions, either from the player or from enemies. So like, I read a walkthrough for this game because I got stuck at a part and
That's fair.
was just kind of like, all right, I just want to get through this. So I just kind of had a walkthrough up on my monitor.
Mm-hmm.
And for one of the rescue missions, it mentioned that like, hey, there's like 8 or 9 groups of dudes here, but there's only one that's actually attacking the city. So if you can just target that one, then you're kind of free to take the rest of it at your own pace.
Interesting.
I didn't know that.
And I think that design is really interesting. I see what they were going with, what they were going for, and I think they executed on it pretty well.
It's to get you to like plan out your strategy better. Yeah, that's actually really cool.
Well, and I like that it's not like arbitrary. It is like, I don't know. There's logical, logistical reasons for what's happening, and it's up to the player to figure out how to deal with it. As opposed to when I first encountered the rescue mission, I assumed it was basically like a time attack. Hey, kill all the things fast.
Yeah, but no,
it's actually a bit more deliberate than I thought.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I also used a guide at some points. It was specifically around the middle. I think it was when I was looking for the decoy ability.
Yeah,
I just got a little. Yeah. The backtracking on that gets a little wonky.
That one's ridiculous. I agree. I think that it's because they don't tell you where the fuck it is.
And don't you need 2 codes for it?
You do. Yep. And
I had a hard time tracking down the second code.
Yeah.
They don't tell you where either of the codes are, so you're basically bouncing from place to place. And then because like for me, like I've played this game, so I was like, I don't need a guide. And then I hit a point where I was like, do I need a fucking guide? and it was that part. I was like, where the fuck is the second code? And then I remembered like, oh, you have to go like back to it's so okay. The one thing I will say, I do like that generally if you are looking for something, it's within areas that are close to where you're going anyway.
Yes.
They tend to keep them all pretty close by. So that's nice. But I do wish that they still kind of at least maybe not told you, but at least said like it's in one of the cities. It's in one of the factories. It's in one of like I don't know, something.
You know what I would have been okay with? If the place you needed to go, oh my god, look, there are some survivors there and the city's being attacked.
Yeah.
You should go over there.
There are a couple spots where I noticed like some kind of indicator on an area when there was something new. But it seemed arbitrary when that popped up or not.
Yeah.
It was odd.
I think generally when that happens, it was like for new. No, it doesn't point out weapons generally, actually.
So the one case of backtracking I actually really liked is when you have to find the broken down frame to pilot.
Yeah,
And
love that part.
the fact that it's just an environmental detail and it's the only area that actually has that exact environmental detail of 2 frames crashed into the ground.
And
I actually really dug that. I thought that was a really interesting use of map design and environmental storytelling.
Yeah. And when you enter the area, it's like, what is it? And when you like enter the area, it like points it out to you pretty directly. But when you first see it, you're just like, oh, it's just like a part of the environment. Like you don't really think much about it. And then you kind of recall it and you're like, oh shit, wait, it's over there. It's cool.
Yeah, that's one of those things that, like, I guess as someone who personally didn't play a lot of older like games from this era, it's one of those like aspects of game design that like I'm so used to shit just being on the ground in a game. It's not like oh, there's something on the ground that means I can touch it, like in like the original Half-Life. Like the fact that there's an object on the ground that you can pick up is a big novelty. The fact that there's just a mech on the ground, it expects you to be like, oh, that is a noteworthy thing. I'm going to go back and do that.
It makes me think of, you know, in like old cartoons, when there would be like an object that was obviously more detailed or pop out from the background, and you're like, oh, that's going to get used. You have a shelf of books that are all lovingly detailed and rendered, and then you have the one that is rendered in the same art style as the main character because they're going to grab it and move it. Yeah, and it's just like way brighter than the others for some reason. And yeah, exactly. It makes me think of that. I liked that bit in general, and this kind of caused a bit of, I think the fancy term is ludonarrative dissonance for me. Okay.
Ooh.
Because, so there's that bit where you're piloting the other mech, right? That's just like an enemy mech.
Yeah.
I found the game way easier with that thing. That thing kills like any dude I could find in like one melee combo. Whereas it would take me like 3 or 4 with Jehuty. And it really bothered me because it's like, man, why do we fucking care about this dog shit mech? We should just use one of these, like, basic enemy ones. Like, these are way better.
It's because of the potential. It's the potential.
What potential? The potential for a bunch of fucking sub-weapons I'm not going to use?
Jehuty can do anything. What's that fucking meme picture of like, who's the side character from Jujutsu Kaisen? The one that looks like Sasuke.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about.
How dare you say that about Megumi?
It's Potential Man. He could be good. I swear. It's Potential Mech. She could be good. Maybe.
It's just like, man, this mech is dog shit. Why does this organization care so much about it?
Because of what Anubis does at the end of the game, because Anubis is another Jehuty.
Oh, because he beats the shit out of you? Yeah, that's a pretty cool quality for a mech to have, to get the shit beaten out of it.
But imagine you have 2 Jehuties. You have a really powerful one, and then one that's also strong, but maybe not as strong, you know? It's like, it's kind of like having like 2 guns. Like, one is like a rocket launcher, and then one's kind of like a pistol. Like, both can kill people. It's just
sure.
That, you know?
Look, I'm just saying my ending is you remote pilot one of the other mechs, and you're like, wait, this is way better. I'm just gonna use this.
And then the captain of like the ship that you're bringing fucking Jehuty to, or the captain of the Atlantis is just like, hey, like, so we realized we don't actually need Jehuty. We're just gonna grab one of these.
This one of these like mass-produced things, like way better. I'm sorry.
Just keep Jehuty. It's fine.
Just we don't need it.
It's. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
Oh no. I was gonna like shift slightly because what I did find interesting is the game design itself. just in terms of this being an action game, but just due to the map traversal and how you get into combat, feeling more akin to an RPG. Like you are going through this big world map, like in a old RPG where you are the giant sprite going through the map, and then you go into the individual dungeons and towns, and then within that you have the big groups of enemies that you get into fights with.
You have your like pseudo random encounters, yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, like it's like modern RPG design. Like I'm gonna use Persona as the example because that's my go-to. But like, yeah, you walk around. You walk around. You walk around Tartarus and you see the shadow, and then you smack the shadow and you get into the encounter. That is also how this game plays out. It's very different from modern action games and even action games of the time, and so I just found that interesting.
I thought it was really cool. I also agree. I think that sort of game flow is interesting, and I thought that was neat. I liked how enemy packs would like broadcast what they were gonna drop, because it allows you as a player
that was
to,
interesting.
Yeah, like, oh shit, I'm low on health. These guys are gonna drop a Metatron. I should kill them. Or like, oh, I need ammo for the gauntlet, so I'm gonna go kill these guys.
Yeah, it made it where you could better plan out, like, so say you have trouble with like a specific enemy group, and then like probably after that fight you're going to need some Metatron. You could like plan out your route of how you were going to fight them, or you could even group them together. You could lead one to the other and then just fight them all. Like, I like the varied ways you can tackle fights in that game. I think it's like, it's cool that you can kind of lure one group to another, and you can kind of cause like these big battles and like try to just get through them the best you can.
And also, you can just leave if things are getting too heavy. I think that's
like,
really neat.
Like if you're getting like real fucked up, you can just like fly away. You can just disable the lock.
There's a weird amount of agency to it, and I think that is cool.
Yeah.
Again, like you have a flee button. This game is a lot more similar to an RPG than DMC, like Devil May Cry 1 is.
Yeah, it is. It is truly an action RPG.
Yeah,
I feel like
absolutely.
I feel like the best the comparison that my mind tends to go to with when it comes to this game and kind of what it's doing, what it's cooking, is like Kingdom Hearts 1. In the sense of like Kingdom Hearts 1 is if you really look at everything Kingdom Hearts 1 is doing and everything they were doing in that game, that is a weird game. That is a very like weird game that does a lot of like really weird special little things, and it's just kind of throwing a bunch of ideas at the wall and is like going for this really interesting, like these interesting design ideas, and it's doing a lot of this like weird shit that like the rest of the series just doesn't really do.
Yeah.
And it's like really experimenting, and I think that's cool in a lot of different ways. And I look at ZOE 1 as like kind of the same thing. It's a game where it's taking like general RPG design and then applying it to like a mech action game, and extrapolating that out to have all these weird little details and these fun little hidden things and all this shit you can find, and like just a lot of different little bits to it, and like the stuff with the rescue missions and how they work with like kind of tying the player into like the environment more a little bit. There's a lot of really interesting stuff, and I really think those two games are basically like the comparison to me.
I also realize, this is maybe a weird comment, but I feel like I can think of a few games that have tried something similar. Yakuza springs to mind, of like, you've got your open world roaming, but then you kind of like get into encounters, and then it's got to kind of load the encounter kind of a thing.
Yeah, and it's funny that Yakuza kind of took so long to become a turn-based RPG.
Yeah,
when like
because it was already so similar in
it was so obviously
design.
Inspired by them. Yeah.
But one compliment I have for the game is I think it's really cool that getting into fights is seamless. There's no like loading time. You're just, you're in fight mode now, and that's for being like this is what a relatively early PS2 game.
Oh yeah, this was like I think 2001.
Yeah, so I don't know. That feels like a technical achievement. Good job, Konami devs.
Let me double check.
Yeah, I'm surprised there isn't more like Zoe likes, just because this game design is actually really distinct, and I just feel like outside of like a Yakuza, you don't see that much actually similar to it in terms of its marrying of RPG, traversal with like hard action game combat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's because everybody goes to Armored Core. All right, what does Armored Core fucking have? Huh? It's not Gundam.
Games that people like.
Fuck. Shit.
I've never played an Armored Core, so I can't comment on this.
Armored Core is cool. I'm just trying to make people mad for engagement. I just think it's funny. But
I've
I've never played Armored Core either. I'm just trying to make Sam mad for enjoyment.
I have a friend who keeps telling me like, "Hey, you should play Armored Core, and then you would actually like a mech game." And I'm like, I'm pretty sure the answer's still no, but okay.
The Armored Core games. So I've played one. Again, not to go on too long of a tangent. Just Armored Core 1 is a fascinating game because it is a game that like I like what it's doing on a textual level through gameplay by making it where like if you play that game, and when you play that game you will probably suck ass at it at first. It's just how it is.
I mean, yeah,
like,
it's a modern FromSoft game. Like that's just.
Oh no! I'm talking about Armored Core. I'm talking about Armored Core 1.
Armored Core 1 is an old school From Software game.
Yeah. And so
yes, the same thing applies.
And so for Armored Core 1, a big thing about it is like the worst. So say you keep fucking up missions, you go into debt. Because that's how that game is. And the more debt you go into, like the worse, I don't think it's like the worse your standing is, but like basically without spoiling it, because who knows, maybe I'll recommend the game. Who knows?
Please don't.
It's crazy. Basically, like it does things. It does a cool thing in a textual way, and I think that makes Armored Core really special because of like what it's saying specifically about like capitalism and how capitalism kind of drives people to do shit for money, and not only that, but like how it also like controls your life and gives you like no actual control. It's cool. It's cool. But yeah, I love Zone of the Enders. Honestly, this playthrough just reminded me how much I love Zone of the Enders 1. Like, I have my issues with it too. Like, the dub is bad.
I fucked with it. I enjoyed it. But that's because again, that is what to me games and anime from that era are supposed to sound like that. So I don't care. It doesn't bug me.
So I say what I said with the caveat that Ada's voice actress kills it. She does great in that game.
I feel like it would be a lot more sympathetic to that if like 75% plus of the voice lines in the game weren't Ada. I got so sick of hearing from Ada by the time I was done with the game.
But what about the bit where where what is it? Where Leo asks like, "Is everybody dead?" "Yes, every enemy has been eliminated. Good job, sir." And he just screams.
Oh, that was really good.
That's like that's one of my favorite jokes in the game. It's so good. Oh my god.
I mostly just got tired of her voice in gameplay.
That's fair. I get what you mean.
I get it. It's like it's the oh god damn it. Never
it's like it's just
to be the boss baby guy. It's like the Morgana thing in Persona 5 where he talks to you so much you just like get
he just doesn't
stop
shut the
telling
fuck
me to
up,
go to
and then you're
bed,
just,
cat.
Yeah. It's a very like, yeah, I know I'm out of combat. Thank you, Ada. I figured that one out.
And I also really like Viola's actress. I think she does a really good job.
Yeah, I liked Viola.
No, I dug Viola a lot.
I really love Viola.
There's a lot of really neat concept art of her in the art book I have from the collector's edition.
Yeah,
I have a couple. I have a couple of issues with the way she's written, but overall, Viola was probably my favorite character.
Yeah, 100%. Same. 'Cause, like,
and then, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what was it? I really like. Yeah, I also have issues with her, but overall I really like the way she's written overall. Sorry, so continue.
No, I was going to use me talking about my collector's edition as a springboard to say I did something I'm going to try to avoid doing in the future of this show, which is I assigned a little extra homework to the both of you. The reason I want to avoid doing that in the future is because it was in between episodes and I didn't give the audience a chance to participate with it. Which is a big deal for this show, which for the audience at home, the extra homework I assigned is in the collector's edition of Zoe that I own. It comes with a little 8-track CD called the Remix Selections, which was, it's just some choice cuts from the Zone, I believe just Zone of the Enders 1 soundtrack, remixed specifically that came out in the 2012, early 2010s era, known as I would lovingly call the modern day disco flash in the pan that was the popularity of dubstep. So I made everyone listen to this with me because for me, this is a important part of Zone of the Enders because when I bought this collector's edition, I listened to this CD more than I played this game. Either of them.
Was it dubstep?
Parts of it, absolutely.
It was like, it was a mix. It was like a mix of different stuff, yeah.
Okay. To firmly establish myself as the villain of this episode, I did not listen to it.
Oh, you bastard. You rat bastard.
No more mechs. Puts it all down.
My reasoning being that after I was done with this game and already feeling like, all right, I gotta watch some of this goddamn Gundam shit, I wanted to divorce. I just was so sick of absorbing content related to this game that I was just like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that.
That's fine. Again, this is your Devil May Cry 3, your Devil May Cry with a vengeance.
Deidra, what makes you hate mechs so much? Is there like a reason? Is it just the vibes? I'm so curious.
It's the vibes. So I haven't really engaged with a lot of mecha content because I kind of wrote it off pretty quick, and like, why would I engage with something I'm not really into? But a lot of mecha stories I've seen have seemed like the same shit.
Let me help you. You just see it's like a good bowl of
you cannot fix me on this one.
I should not use a food analogy. Food analogies are terrible. It's like a good bottle of water.
TV show where there are people and robots.
No, wait. No, it's like a good cold bottle of water. Like it just hits right. You get the right one. It just hits. It's perfect, right? Listen. So there's a little show called Escaflowne. Have you ever heard of Escaflowne? I think you'd like Escaflowne a little bit. Maybe.
I doubt it, but we'll see.
It's like steampunk, not steampunk. It's like steam medieval fantasy mechs. It's neat. It's cool. I think it's cool. Play Xenogears.
But also a big issue I have is just aesthetics. I don't like big bulky things typically.
That's
and
interesting.
and that's mecha. That is mecha.
Well,
Is your favorite mecha anime 13 Sentinels?
So funny thing about 13 Sentinels, I put it off for a really long time because I knew there were
Yes,
mecha
and then I
involved.
forced you to play it.
And then you forced me to play it, and I liked it because it actually had a lot
Yeah.
of content that didn't surround the mechas. And then you get
Yeah.
to every character's episode, and you're like, "Oh right, this is a mecha anime. I forgot about that."
It is in fact in between the high school shenanigans. It is a mecha anime.
The secret to make me like mecha content is to like downplay the mecha part as much as you possibly can. I think the Sentinel designs, for example, in 13 Sentinels, hot garbage. Fucking hate those.
Holy shit.
But anyway, I need to interrogate Sam. Sam, did you listen to this?
I listened to a few tracks. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I'm sorry. It's not. I want to be clear. It's just like it just wasn't really my type of shit. I don't listen to remix stuff that much. I didn't really like the remixes I listened to. I don't know. It just wasn't really my thing. I didn't think all of them were bad. I'm trying to remember which one I liked. It was like.
So here's the thing. Make no mistake. I listened to it in full while I was doing some some editing. And then I listened to it while I was doing some stuff with my dogs and could not finish it.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's very, very bad.
Okay.
It is 8 tracks. It's 45 minutes long. Each track is
it feels
5
like
an eternity.
minutes.
Oh goodness.
There is no reason that all of these songs should be 5 minutes long. There is a 2.5 minute song that they just repeat.
They just play it twice and like, yep, that's the song.
Like my music tastes today, I think you can see what I was looking for in a lot of music like this. But it's actually like groovy or melodic. Not all of it is hard dubstep. A lot of it is more housey dance stuff. But even then, it's like, just like this really, like the place for this music is big raves where you're not really dancing. You're kind of just like moving in a crowd and on God knows what.
Yeah, you're on some fucking ecstasy. You're just going. You're just feeling the room. You're feeling the rhythm. I understand what you mean.
But yeah, because like it is sonically, it is not groovy or melodic. It is just sort of this really harsh, loud sonic like soundscape. And I just personally, like, there's a lot of stuff that I like now that you get that, but it's actually interesting music behind it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, again, this CD is like integral to my relationship with Zoe. So that's why I assigned it, which if anyone is interested, it's on YouTube. It's not on Spotify. This album is not well documented.
Not Spotify approved.
Konami does not give a fucking shit about like Zone of the Enders at all anymore.
Zone of the Enders one more so than anything.
Yeah. Even one, cuz like it's okay, genuinely, it's really fucking annoying that the only game that's ever been ported is 2. You can buy 2 on PS4, I guess /PS5, because you can buy PS4 games on there. So you can buy 2 on PS4, I think Switch, and PC, and maybe Xbox. I don't remember. But you can't buy 1 anywhere. The GBA game has never been ported. None of the animes have ever, to my knowledge, have never gotten Blu-rays. Like, they don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
3 was going to happen, I think, before Kojima left Konami, and then once everything happened, they canceled it, so.
And now, fun fact, the guy who actually wrote and directed Zoe, he's handling Metal Gear Delta.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
he the guy behind Snake Eater Delta is the one who's helming is the guy who made Zoe.
Nice. Okay, I didn't know that.
And he also has some history with Metal Gear as a franchise outside of just working with Kojima on Zone of the Enders.
Sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, because I mean, I think he was just a part of like Kojima team, or or Kojima Productions, and so that makes sense. It's interesting that he stayed, though. I wonder if it was kind of like one of those things where he just maybe not.
Well, because he
liked
also
the
worked on some Tokimeki stuff, so like I think he might have just been more of a Konami guy in general.
Yeah, he was just there in general, and so yeah, okay, that makes more sense. I feel like we've probably gotten all our feelings about gameplay. Oh, I do want to say one thing about the music overall. The regular music slaps. That shit's fire.
Yes, it's good.
It's very, very, very good.
There are some loops during exploration that I personally found obnoxious. But I don't know. Overall, it fit the setting and tone.
Yeah, I love the... What's one of my favorite ones? I like the way it uses the menu theme in the very last fight a lot. I really like how it kind of does it to disorient you a little more, too.
Yeah.
I just think it's really cool. I think it's really cool the way it's used. I really like that song. I like kind of its electronic, trancey sort of beats. It just really connected with me. I really vibe with it every time I hear it.
No, it's cool. It's cool. That is it's a fun, like hearing the opening of a show played during a big fight. It's cool.
Exactly. But if we're all done talking about the gameplay for the most part, what about that story though? What about that narrative?
This game
Yeah, I liked it. It's
sure
cool.
has one.
I don't have too many deep feelings on it, unfortunately. I enjoyed it. I think it was serviceable.
God, I fucking hate Leo.
Oh,
I hate Leo so much.
Nah,
No.
I like Leo. I could get
Leo's
on with
such
I dug it.
Leo's so lovable. He's not even supposed to be there today.
I mean, he's not, and I get that he's got some shit going on, and like all his friends are dead or something.
I don't even think they were his friends, to be honest. I think like
I
a
just
thing I
found him so obnoxious.
kind of like about that first cutscene is like they immediately throw his ass under the bus.
Yeah.
And then like the people invading feel so bad for him that they're just like that they're literally just like, okay, dude, like listen, like they suck. They suck. Your friends suck ass. Just like you can save them if you want, or you could just leave. And he just leaves.
He just pieces out.
He just pieces out, and then he feels guilty about it. But like, I don't blame him. I don't know. Like, it's fucked up. I don't think people should die. I'm just saying, they tried to kill him. They tried to get his ass killed. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I really like Leo. I specifically really like Leo and Ada's relationship a lot. I like the way that it kind of morphs over the course of the game. And it's like in kind of a basic way, but I really do like how Ada becomes a bit more human because of Leo a little bit. I really like especially the scene near the end. It's like it's when like Viola is like beating Leo's ass and Ada's like, "Hey, I'm going to eject you." And Leo's like, "No, I can win. I'm built different. We can do it."
I don't know if this is just because it's a video game, but I thought it was profoundly funny that like Viola just like stuns you, locks your controls.
Yeah.
And then there's that whole exchange between Leo and Ada. And Viola's just like, "Well, how should I kill you?" Or any last words or whatever. And then she just like stares at you for a solid like minute or two.
Yeah.
While Leo and Ada are like having their little heart to heart.
to be fair, a thing I really like about Viola as a character is that she's kind of a massive weirdo, in the sense of, like, she immediately obsesses over this kid who's a pretty good pilot and, like, wants to kill him in a really specific way. Like, she will play underhanded, but, like, she also has, like, a weird thing about wanting to beat him in, like, an actual fight.
Yeah. And maybe that's just because Jehuty is hyped up.
Yeah, like, I tend to look at that part of it as, like, she's just trying to kind of regain control of the fight, but I don't think Viola's actually trying to kill him in that moment. But I do think she's trying to get the advantage, for sure.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. It just... I found that moment very funny.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It is really funny. She's just dead staring at you, and then Ada's like, listen, I'm gonna eject you, like, right now and self-destruct. Yeah. Like, don't even worry about it. And Leo's like, no.
And Leo's just like, I'm him, and then he's free, I guess.
Yeah, there's not even really. He kind of just goes like, wait a minute, and he does the fucking, like, behind the scenes, like, the fucking hacker man ass shit. He's just like, no, I have a plan. I could get out of this barrier. Don't worry. And then Ada's like, no, I'm gonna eject you, and he's like, no, just give me like a minute. And then all of a sudden, he's just free. He's like, I did it.
Yeah. Just like, oh, okay, sure, like, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Amara would do some shit like that, so, like, I believe it. It's just funny. But yeah, I don't know. I think Leo and Ada have some really nice moments. I really like all the moments, especially where, like, I really love the moments where the boss's pods eject. And, like, the first one, Ada is like, you should kill the pilot, like, right now.
Yeah.
And Leo's like, no.
I don't want to kill someone.
And she counts down like the seconds to, like, until they're, like, out of shot.
Yeah. And
then I really love, as it goes on, eventually she just stops asking because she knows he won't do it. Mm-hmm. Like she, like, I love that one scene where I think it's like the third boss. She's like, or no, he's like, what, are you gonna ask me if, like, I'm gonna kill him or not? And then she just says, no, I know you won't. It's just, like, a really sweet, I don't know. I really like the way they kind of bounce off of each other. I like the way that, like, they kind of bond through circumstance, though it's more Leo bonding with her in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of the attachment there. And then you kind of realize that, like, she is bonding back, like, after the first Viola fight, like, that little part where she kind of starts, like, choking up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I love that scene. I love that scene so much. It's so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't enjoy the narrative, but I don't feel comfortable criticizing it because I feel like this is just something that I had difficulty engaging with.
Because you're a guy.
Yeah, it is. It is. You're going into it with. Like,
I am coming
preconceived
into
notion.
this pre-jaded. I dislike the cliche that Ada's... I basically really dislike Ada's character archetype. I get what they're trying to do with it. I'm sure they did a fine job. I think robot that feels emotions suddenly is really stupid, and I hate it.
But what if robots could feel? What if you designed a robot that could feel pain?
I would consider myself a monster. Why the fuck would someone do that?
Because insert watch Prometheus here. I don't know.
Ooh, that was a bad argument. I don't want to watch Prometheus again.
I'm sorry, did I say Prometheus? I mean Alien Covenant.
I don't know. I feel really bad because I feel like this is just a product of me, like, being pretty close-minded.
Listen. No. But see, this is the start. Then slowly over time, all of my the secret bit is going to be that all of my recommendations are just going to be mecha games until you like mecha. It's the perfect plan.
This is like when I started watching a little bit of anime through friends, and Robin said that this was just a plan to get me to build anime tolerance immunity so that I could actually sit through the entirety of One Piece.
That shit never works. Yeah. That shit never works. If I've tried, I swear to God, I've tried recommending anime to certain friends that just like don't have toleration for like some bullshit tropes in anime, and like every single time they'll get recommended some shit by somebody, and I'm like, why did they recommend you that? Like if somebody comes to me and they go like, oh, I fucking hate like a lot of the regular shit, I'm gonna recommend them like Kino no Tabi instead. Like, or something, just something different that they might actually
not
like.
Not to throw one of your friends under the bus, but when you were like, oh yeah, I liked XYZ anime, and then you told me that you got recommended Mashal, I'm like,
oh my God, no way, what?
Why? That's not. I would not recommend Mashal.
I still haven't seen it, so I have
honestly,
no opinion.
I don't think you're gonna like it.
I don't think. Given how you've described your tastes, I really don't think you're gonna like Mashal.
I don't think I will either, which is why I haven't jumped on it. So far, I'm on record as for liking 2 anime so far. So,
have you watched Ava?
No,
girl.
You might.
Girl.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I think that one's gonna need some more tolerance.
What do you want me to say? Robin? It's a good recommendation. You know I'm right. It wouldn't take too much tolerance. You just gotta get through a few episodes. That's it. And then you're in.
That's a pretty big ask. I'm gonna be real.
Just barrel through it, and then bam, I mean, I think it's good from the beginning, personally. But like from what you're describing, you just give it a couple episodes, all right? You let it cook. You see, no, wait. You see the funny penguin, and then you're in.
Yeah, I don't know. I think given the chance, Deidra would like shove Hideaki Anno in a locker. I don't think he would like anything he's made, if I'm being real.
What about Shin Kamen Rider? Shin Kamen Rider could be the one.
He hates superheroes.
Shin Godzilla?
Maybe Shin Godzilla.
I feel like Shin Godzilla has to be the one. That would be like the one out of anything. If it's not that, then I actually do know the one. It's Ritual. You should watch Ritual. Like, seriously, it's a live action thing. He made it in like 2000. You should watch Ritual. Okay. It's not a mech thing. It's not a sci-fi thing. That's not what it is. It's a very straightforward drama. You should watch Ritual. Like, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation. Maybe I'll just force you both to watch it at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll do that someday.
Yeah, well, I'll save it.
I will say, to keep the negativity train rolling, I think my favorite part of the story is when Leo, there's like a part midway through when Leo is complaining about how he doesn't want to do this and how he wants out. Because that's exactly how I was feeling. Are you saying he's
complaining about not wanting to murder people? Is that the argument?
Not wanting to die.
I just wanted to be out of the game, and I'm like, yeah, same, buddy.
Oh my God.
So your story issue is a child complaining about not wanting to participate in mass murder and war?
What I'm hearing is that you it sounds like you were put in a situation almost by force in a way.
Oh yeah, no. I think on some level, even though I didn't enjoy the narrative, there are parts of it that I was sympathetic to.
You were put in a situation that you were forced to in a way, and you had to see it through, even though you wanted to quit multiple times over the course of the playthrough.
Oh, I finished the game. I wasn't about to be a quitter.
Oh, no.
No,
for sure.
So I know what you're saying, and I agree. Like, I've done shit in my life that I didn't care about just because someone asked me to. And playing
Deidra
this
is
game
braver
was
than
an
any
example of that.
soldier. You fought in war. He played Zone of the Enders 1 once.
Oh,
You played Zone of the Enders because you like mecha. I played Zone of the Enders because someone asked me to. We are not the same.
Listen, to hop back on the positivity train, I want to talk about Viola, all right?
Okay.
I adore Viola. I think she's the best character in the game. Hands down, 100%. Immediately from the second she appears on screen, she is immediately a weirdo freak who wants to kill everybody and also wants to die. Real bad.
Yeah.
The second she sees Leo in that goddamn robot and she kind of loses her fight, she loses her shit and completely makes a vendetta against a child.
No, it is really fun to see her just like on sight. I'm going to murder that baby.
Exactly.
Which, if I use my previous statement about Jehuty feeling weaker than just a fucking basic shitty mech, that means Viola is even worse than a basic shitty mech. I'm just saying.
I love the bit in... I think one of my favorite parts of the game, genuinely, is the part where Sylvise gets shot because it's just so petty.
It's so stupid. I kind of loved it.
It's the pettiest shit in the world. So, like, Viola loses, and Leo does his whole thing again where he's like, no, like, I don't want to kill her because, like, that's wrong, and, like, she deserves to live. But Viola's crazy, and she wants to die. So she waits for them to have this long, meaningful conversation where they're all standing in a circle just in this warehouse, just hanging out. And then all of a sudden, out of fucking nowhere, she just shoots Sylvise through the fucking, like, stomach from, like, a rock. And it's just laughing and goes like, "This will teach you a lesson, boy. Now come kill me."
I think she specifically says, "You need this."
Yeah, she says you need this. That's what it was. And
what the fuck does he need to watch a child get shot?
He needs to learn not to leave people alive. He needs to learn that sometimes you have to kill people.
This is a bloodthirsty world, Leo. You have to kill to survive.
Exactly. But then he shows to her that, you know, cynicism like that doesn't do shit for nobody. It doesn't help nobody out.
While she's falling into, what is it, Jupiter's orbit?
Yeah. No, Saturn's?
Saturn, one of those planets. I don't know. She's about to fucking die.
I love that whole sequence. That whole sequence is so good. Like, she's just kind of falling slowly, and Leo's like, "We can probably get her, right?" And Jehuty and Ada's like, "No, probably not."
No, I agree. I also really like that section.
But it's the way,
that scene
like,
is really interesting.
It's the slow breakdown is my favorite part of it, because, like, she's already breaking down before she starts falling. But, like, my favorite bit is just kind of the little bit where she's just like, "You've never had to fucking deal with shit in your life. I've lost so much. I don't even feel like a person anymore, really. I feel like a tool of war. And, like, I fight essentially just for the thrill of it at this point. And, like, I've lost so much, and I've lost the people that I love, and nobody gives a fuck about me." And she's just kind of spiraling. And then kind of, like, right before the end, she's just like, "Was I a good pilot?" And it just... I love that scene. I think that's my favorite. That's like my favorite scene of the game. I fucking adore that scene.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
It's so good. Any other strong Viola opinions?
No, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head.
guess the last major... let's talk about 2 last major parts. So we talked a little bit about Anubis before. I love that bit too. I think that's probably like another one of my favorite moments of the game. Just in the sense of like, it comes out of nowhere. It is a fight that you cannot win. Ada is basically freaking out the entire time. Like, the music and the atmosphere is really creepy and like fucked up. There's a lot of like blur effects going on and shit.
The whole thing to me just felt like a very, oh hey, you did it, you beat the final boss. Oh, but you can get so much stronger. Find out in Zone of the Enders 2.
Yeah,
I agree. I think it's an effective version of that.
Yes.
But it did just feel like weirdly sequel hooky. And maybe that wasn't the point. I don't know.
Oh no, it definitely is. Like, it 100% is.
It felt like a shonen anime end of season 1. They beat the big boss, and then like some dude comes out of nowhere and beats their ass, and find out how they overcome this challenge in season 2. I don't know.
But then I don't know. I think it's a really effective version of it though, just because it's so sudden and it's so...
I kind of appreciate that it comes out of left field with like basically no build up.
Yeah, like it just happens. Like it happens and it's like, and the atmosphere of like everything completely changes. And it's like creepy. I don't know. Like I feel like it gives off a really cool, creepy vibe. And it just every time I play it, it's so effective. And then I want to talk about just like the final scene. This is probably the last thing, unless y'all have anything specific you want to bring up about the game. But I also really adore the final exchange between basically like the reveal of what Ada's mission actually is. It's like a bittersweet ending. It's not even sweet. It's just a bitter ending, kind of.
Yeah, sure. It is her job to self-destruct. After he's built this whole game of him, of Leo caring about Ada.
Mm-hmm. And getting really close to her, and like you, the player, also like fighting with her. And I'm not saying that both of you connected to Ava probably as much as I did, but like for me, it's like she's your buddy, she's your pal. She's there. You warm up to her, and she warms up to you and to Leo and shit. And like, then she just kind of tells you, "Oh yeah, by the way, like, I'm going to Mars to blow up." And it's like, oh, fuck. That's my buddy out there. Damn.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that, like, if Leo knew ahead of time what was going on, would he have done it at all type of deal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Like, would he have even agreed? Would he have stuck to it? Would he have just tried to fly away? Like, what would he have done? It's cool. Little fun fact, too. The end song they play right after she tells him that. That's the menu theme. The menu theme is the a cappella version of that song reversed.
They got a lot of money out of that. They wrote one song, and we're getting mileage out of it.
They really did. It's because it's funny because the intro song is like a Heart of Air song. So it's like, and I'm assuming they either commissioned it or they licensed it. Mm-hmm. And then the second one was like a song that like they specifically made, like seemingly in-house, I think. I don't know. I could be wrong about that too. Maybe they also just licensed that. I don't know. But either way, they got their fucking use out of that song. It's used fucking so many times.
It's economical.
It's true. It's good for saving on some budget for the game packed with Metal Gear Solid 2, you know?
Mm-hmm. The game that comes with the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo.
Yeah. We gotta move this shit somehow.
I wish I had remembered about that like major fucking detail when I recommended it, because instead of Gundam, I would have recommended that demo instead.
God, I think I would have hated that even more.
I know.
and then also don't forget how the HD collection came with a Revengeance demo.
Yeah, it did.
That's cute. That's a good nod.
Yeah, no, it was pretty funny.
Zone of the Enders exists to demo Raiden.
That's why we don't have another Zone of the Enders. We don't have another Metal Gear. Maybe they should re-release it again and shove a Delta demo, even though Raiden's not even in that.
Well, no. If they do a Metal Gear Solid 2 HD, they'll bring out.
True.
They'll do
Zone of the Enders again.
That's why the director is working on Delta. He's laying the seeds early. By remaking 3, and then they're gonna like start remaking 2, and then on the side they're gonna do Zone of the Enders 3, and there's gonna be a pack-in demo.
That'd be so funny.
We figured it out. Good. We figured it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we have any final thoughts on Zone of the Enders? Any opinions? Any hot takes?
I think I covered all my feelings so far. Again, I did enjoy the game as a whole. Just some of the traversal stuff made it a little frustrating and felt like they were padding out the game a little bit. But otherwise, I did like this game.
Yeah.
I think this entire episode was just one big hot take from me. So
it's true. I think it's the most I've heard you hate something.
Oh, I have a lot of vitriol. It's just... I tend to not talk about things I don't like because, like, it's kind of rude.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Don't worry. My next recommendation, I'll try to find something that's a little better.
I will say, so that I don't come across as a completely cynical asshole, I feel like I see what Zone of the Enders is trying to do, and I think it does a good job of accomplishing that mission.
Yeah.
It just is a mission that I personally have no desire to experience.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, Zone of the Enders is probably like, I love that game. Like, I swear to fuck, I've played it so many times at this point. I really love it. I really love the vibes. I love everything it's doing. I love the kind of RPG sort of design it's going for. Because, like, I haven't finished 2, but 2 is really fun. 2 is, like, the combat's way better. Overall, it's doing a lot more in terms of variety. But it ditches, like, the kind of RPG design a little bit. It becomes more linearly structured.
So I don't really know much about this series. Was 2 also on the PlayStation 2, or was it like way later?
So the only games that the series got is 1, The Fist of Mars for the Game Boy Advance.
Nice.
And 2.
Okay.
And Fist of Mars is a strategy RPG that was made by Sunrise, by the way.
Oh, interesting.
And then 2 happened. And a lot of people consider 2 to be the best of the series, which is why it gets ported to everything. And always gets remembered because people just tend to kind of shit on 1 and just go like, oh, it's whatever. Oh, you can skip it. Just play 2. It's better. And it's like, no, you need to play both. Oh, but Leo's not cool in that one. Neither would you. All right. Oh. All right, well, if that's all we got, please, if you want to support us and like what we do, you can go to patreon.com/the Questlog Club and become a member for as little as $1 a month. to get access to episodes including our side quests, where we recommend each other a book, a movie, a manga, a 12-episode anime, something, just kind of as a bonus thing.
Yeah, just a piece of non-game media to, if you want to do that with us, or if you just want to hear us talk about something that isn't a video game, just a little bonus for you to listen to. Again, it's on the Patreon. It's just an extended version of these episodes. By not paying on the Patreon, you are still getting the full conversation on the main game, but if you just want a little bit more about something else, side quests.
Yeah, basically, like, the Patreon is very supplemental. We look at it more as like it's a way to support us and like what we're doing here, and for it you get a supplemental piece of the episode, but it's not like you're missing like any of the major discussion. Like, nothing from the game discussion is cut out. We don't do shit like that. It's just for that supplemental material, which is the side quests. That's it.
Yep. So yeah, again, go ahead.
If you want to hear more of us talking, please feel free to subscribe.
Again, that is on patreon.com/the Questlog Club.
It'll be linked down below as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching YouTube, it's a link down below. If you're on, I don't know, figure it out. If you're on Spotify, I don't know. You're an adult. You can look this up.
Cool. All right, then I think it's time
to spin
for the
that
side
wheel.
Quests.
Okay, let me do that. So a little thing. Sorry, one moment. There we go. Since this was a Sam episode, we did Sam's side quest. None of her selections will be on the wheel this month. It is just a one-on-one of me versus Deidra. And on the wheel currently, we have Papa Rod's discography as it currently stands. He doesn't have an album out. Bochi the Rock, Oshinoko Episode 1. The extra caveat to that is we all have to watch it together. And Anatomical Venus by Black Moth. Dog's Red, the manga as it stands right now. I think there's like 25, maybe 30 chapters. And then Police Squad, the 6-episode TV miniseries. And then what's also going to happen this episode is between me and Deidra, whichever of us do not get picked will get our first pity point for the overall pity point system.
We gotta keep tally of these things.
Yes, I will keep tallied in the chat and the side quest chat that we all have.
Okay.
So any questions, comments, concerns?
I mean, I'm just watching on this one. I got shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm good.
Okay. Then I'm going to spin the wheel. Okay. Here we go. And we are looking at... Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not mad. Okay. We got Dog's Red.
So this is a manga, correct?
Yes, this is a manga. This is a hockey manga, sports manga from the creator of Golden Kamuy.
Yeah, Oh, I'm in. I'm excited.
I
didn't realize this segment was going to be so heavily sports themed, but here we are, I guess.
Here we are.
Just gonna keep recommending sports
Let me
films.
check really quickly how many chapters we're looking at. The new one, actually, as of recording, the new chapter just came out today, and so we are looking at 31 chapters.
Question, is it on Viz?
I don't know. It's on Jump.
Okay, that's what I was just wondering if it was on one of those. Cool.
And it seems like chapters come out every 3 weeks or so. It's not a regular. So, you know, if a new chapter comes out before we record next, just also read that, I guess. But as of right now, it is 31 chapters. And yeah, so we will check out Satoru Noda ice hockey manga, Dog's Red will be our next thing. But also, as of right now, Deidra has the first pity point.
Oh boy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if Deidra gets when Deidra gets 3 pity points, because eventually we're all going to get 3, just depends on how long it's going to take. You will have the money in the bank, and then you can punish us some horrible way with the money in the bank.
Okay.
Now.
So, with that all decided,
Deidra,
yep.
Yeah.
what is the game for the next episode?
So, I fucking hated Zone of the Enders. I hate this game.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
You know, that's okay. And after finishing it, I felt like I needed a stiff drink. And I thought, where better to go than a bar that I deeply enjoy? One that goes by the name of VA11 Hall A.
Okay.
Or for more sane people,
Oh shit.
Valhalla.
Okay.
Okay.
Going to be injecting a bit more book into this book club through a visual novel.
Yeah, all right. I'm very game.
But
I'm not gonna lie. I'm surprised you like Valhalla.
yeah, I was surprised I liked it as well. But I guess as a little bit of a spoiler, I really enjoyed it. And I hope you both and whoever may be following along enjoys it as well.
Hell yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I look forward to Valhalla.
Same.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to yet another episode of the Questlog Club. Again, if you would like to support us on Patreon, our Patreon is patreon.com/the Questlog Club. And you can follow us. You can follow at least me and Robin on Twitter or on YouTube. Preferably YouTube. I'm trying to use Twitter less. I fucking hate that website so much. And I hope to see you all on the next episode.
Goodbye.
Bye.